One moment. My wireless mic is not working, so... why is this thing always having problems as soon as I plug it in? Every single time. We might have to go not wireless mic today, which is fine. This one works too. What's up, everybody, though? Happy Wednesday. Ooh, I gotta pop out chat. Sorry, late start today for me. Stream starts on time, but I did not get to set everything up because I was doing... The girls had poop explosions, they just got fed, etc. Let me get all this in place real quick. Comment highlighter. No. Okay, sweet. Comments are popping up. Okay. This wireless mic refuses to work. Cool. How about this one? And while I let my computer try to figure out all this stuff. Oh, what the... Yeah, well, I'll let this try to figure that out. What's up, Extreme Zone 987? First in the house. What up, Stang? Yes, rumor Intel is coming with the B770, which I think my prediction was that I didn't think it was going to happen. So, I will happily be wrong if this actually comes to be true. But we'll take a look at that news in a second once we get up and going. What up, Arnold? Albert, hello. What up, Dispatcher? Hello, Johnny Bravo. I wanted to see Motherboard. Yes, we will take a look at those in a second. So doesn't mean Sapphire is a new EVGA. Sapphire has always been kind of like AMD's equivalent of EVGA with regards to like high quality card, high quality customer service, being exclusive. So it's not like they're the new EVGA, and Sapphire's been around for a long time. It's more like they're the continuing because they didn't, give up and quit the race like EVGA kind of did. Craig Lilly's waiting for an SFX motherboard myself. Yeah, that's kind of... It brings up kind of the interesting topic of, like, what if some of these other exclusive manufacturers, like XFX and, like, Power Color and stuff, what if they had motherboards? But I think so far this is... It was B850 motherboards, but I'm trying to think of... When EVGA did it, did they have both Intel and AM4 previously? I've never owned an EVGA motherboard, but we can get more into that once we get the stream actually started. We're just chilling for now, saying hi to everybody. What up, KL130? Hello. What up, Tony? What the heck? One of my lights was blinking. Okay. Hello, giant robots. How you doing? Hello, all. What up? What up, Damelin? Manstan. I was muted because my mic wasn't working. All right. Is this working now? Let me see. My goodness, this mic. Yeah, what the heck? So I'm using this wireless receiver, which I've used pretty much every stream for the last, I don't know how many months, that goes to my wireless transmitter right here. But today it's not detecting on my computer for some odd reason. Let me unplug and replug it again. Because otherwise, when I go over here and talk, I get really quiet with a stationary mic. So we gotta get this wireless mic working. Oh wait, what's going on with Windows? Anyone experienced SSD issues with the latest Windows update? Apparently it's a Phison controller issue. I have not, no. Um, I haven't been following the whole saga of dying SSDs in Windows. I remember Jay's 2 cents covered it, and then I think there has been a recent, maybe, here, I'll bring that up as well. Let me bring up all these different articles. Let's see, B770, and then I think Tom's Hardware was the one who new report blames Phison pre-release software. Is that the latest in SSD news? Let me see. I thought I saw an article just like today or yesterday, but it might have been a few days ago. Where's the first benchmark? Okay. Oh yeah, so I guess this was quite a few days ago. September 7th, so 3 days ago. Okay. So we can take a look at that in a second. Hey Danny, just curious what version, oh wait no, not what version, when the next LAN stories is. So I just released the most recent LAN party stories like 2 weeks ago, right? And that was for a LAN party back in April, which was one of the longest gaps I've ever had. 5 months. I usually release LAN party videos 3 months after a LAN happens because of, you know, how long it takes to edit and go through the footage and all that kind of stuff. So our next LAN party, we actually determined a date for it. It is in November. So we've locked in the date, and we have the location locked in. We need to now start planning it. It's going to be a big one. But I always try to release 2 LAN party videos a year. I've been doing that for I don't know how long. The issue is I've shifted, and we've shifted the date because this LAN was supposed to actually happen around like October timeframe. So now the date got shifted to November, and I've only released 1 LAN video this year so far. And we're going to have the LAN in like November, and then I'm going to want to get that video out by the end of the year so I can keep that track record of 2 LAN party videos a year since I've only released 1 so far this year, right? So the next LAN is in November, the next LAN party video, and I might have to like basically it's going to kill me, but the plan is to get it out before the end of 2025, which would likely be like around Christmas or New Year's time frame. Most likely New Year's just because of how things work out. There's always problems when trying to export a 20-something gigabyte, 3.5 hour video on Premiere Pro. There's always technical issues. So most likely there will be one in the end of December is all I can say. I will be very upset with myself if I don't get the next LAN video done by then and it releases in 2026. So, what up, BP Mox? I'm doing well. How are you doing? How's everybody in the chat doing? He's got twins. Yes, the twins definitely mess with the workflow. The amount of like trying to work through editing a LAN party stories video, which in itself takes I don't count how many hours, but I know it's like more than 40 hours for sure. On top of me trying to still keep on top of like normal YouTube things and all the other stuff I have going on, and now taking care of the twins, everything is just kind of delayed now a little bit. 12/31, yeah. Honestly, like ideally I would get it out Christmas break, like before Christmas. Think of it as like a Christmas present on top of all the other stuff that you might be getting for Christmas. But I try to plan the releases out. Like this last one, I released it on Labor Day weekend. So I usually try to get them out so that people have the weekend to watch. But if there's like a holiday around the time a LAN party video comes out, I try to hit that holiday so that people have an extended break to watch it. Like for Labor Day weekend, because it was a long weekend, it gives people plenty of time to watch it and enjoy it, and then, you know, before going back to school and work and stuff. So getting it out by Christmas, where a lot of people are going to be on holiday break or taking vacation from their work and stuff like that, it gives people time to be able to sit down and just watch, have a marathon maybe. So yeah. What up, Daniel Hulan? How you doing? Finally not on call. Awesome. Unfortunately, I do not have the girls with me right now because they are upstairs doing what they're doing. And I did not even have time to get them in the outfits if I wanted to, because we're actually, it's weird. We got so much clothes for the girls through like the baby shower and just family and friends buying them clothing, that there's so much clothes that they have not worn yet that they are like starting to outgrow. So right now, Melissa's throwing on whatever outfit that's just hasn't been worn yet on them. And some of these outfits are like already getting too small. And we're just trying to at least get one, you know, one-time wear out of it. And then we could save it for, you know, hand-me-downs for friends and families who are having kids and stuff. But yeah, but glad to see that you're here, Daniel. The baseball one, because that one is a little bit, it's like a stiffer material, it doesn't stretch as much. Unfortunately, they're starting to outgrow that. But the other onesie, the all-white ones that you made, because they're a more stretchy material, I think the girls are able to wear that one longer. But yeah, the baseball sleeved ones, even the first day that they wore it, I was like, oh no. They weren't even 1 month at that point yet, but I don't think they're big for their size. So it might have been when we washed it, it shrunk a little bit, or what, or it's just the size estimation was off on it. But yeah, but I'm glad you still made them, because afterwards I'm just gonna hang them with all my other tech stuff. You know, just like because it has the tech logos on them. Arc Druid Briss says, I rewatched all the LAN stories again. For the people who are new and find my channel way after the fact, and then they find out I did the LAN Party Story series, I almost like want them to go back and watch the 2016 and then go forward in time. I think it's better to watch it in sequence if you can, which is a lot, right? It's like 18 whole episodes of LAN Party Stories, plus the pre-videos. But it shows the story of how it all progressed, and there's a lot of inside jokes and like references and stuff from the old ones that if you only found the channel recently and started watching the newest LAN Party Stories, I think some of the stuff might not make sense. It's like watching, you know, season 9 of a show that has been existing for 9 seasons. What's better, Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve? I use Premiere Pro. I have issues with it, but I've been using it for 20 years about now. Started using it in high school around age 15 or 16. And I think the industry standard is Premiere Pro. Like if you talk about like professional, super professional workflows, movie studios and things like that, majority of content creators, I think it would be Premiere Pro. It's kind of like the NVIDIA versus AMD thing. They kind of have a monopoly. Sure, DaVinci works. Sure, there are people who have sworn off of Premiere Pro and gone to DaVinci, kind of like how people have done that with AMD and NVIDIA. But I mean, I don't think the numbers lie. I'm pretty sure market share for like the professional side of things, Premiere Pro is just like dominating in numbers. And it kind of sucks because Premiere Pro is really expensive. 1 year subscription to Premiere Pro could pay for a lifetime license of DaVinci Resolve. And unfortunately, I pay for that crap. Get some of the LAN crew to help edit. No, none of them are like video editors. Plus, a project like LAN Party Stories would be impossible to divide the workload up, I think, just because of how many hours of footage it is and how long it is. Yeah. What's my opinions on the ARC B580? Funny thing you asked that, because I just this past weekend, or the other, was it this weekend? Yes, this past weekend, I took out my B580 because the most recent video that I released on the channel from PAX surveying gamers with their graphics cards, it would not finish rendering. I probably spent 4 hours pulling my hair out redoing drivers, reinstalling different versions of Premiere, every trick in the book, and I this happened when during the LAN party video too. If you saw that recently, I was trying to get a video out. Premiere Pro was just not playing with the Intel Arc card, so I said screw it. I took it out. I threw in. I have a 4070 Super on hand. I just threw that in, rendered like nothing. So I don't know what the problem is with Intel Arc and Premiere Pro, because I've rendered plenty of videos just fine using Intel Arc, both the A770 and the B580. But here or there, I run into issues like right when I'm trying to get a video out the next morning or that day. So for now, I've thrown in the 4070 Super, and I'm going to try to put the B580 into a secondary system and try to like play with it a bit and see what's going on. But I'm not blaming specifically Adobe or Intel for this problem. It's just a weird interaction thing between the two. Like, other than that, the B580 worked just fine, and then Premiere Pro obviously works with pretty much every other card that I can throw in there. So it's a weird issue. What up, Alucard? How you doing? Glad to see you here. I wish my friends played as games as much as I do. I'd love to have LAN parties like you guys do, unfortunately. Yeah, that's the hard thing, especially once kids enter the picture. I'm going to experience what it's like to now be a parent and try to go to these LAN parties. But I think I'm fortunate that I have a very understanding wife, as well as my wife's family is huge, so they're able to help out. Like, my mother-in-law just got here. She comes and helps out on Wednesdays because I stream and because she works near us on this day. She works in healthcare, and she works at different sites, and on Wednesdays she happens to work closer to us, so it just works out that she's nearby to pop in after work. But yeah, I think I saw someone post in the LAN party. Let me see if I can find it. But regarding that, I saw someone post in the LAN party subreddit. They had a LAN party that was like 4 hours long. Let me see if I can find it. Wait, what? Why? Okay, here we go. LAN party success. Was it this one? 12-person LAN party. No, it wasn't this one. Where is it? I think it was this one, maybe. Oh, nope, this was the Xbox's one. Someone hosted like a 4-hour LAN party, which kind of blew my mind. And it was because all of them were so busy. I think it was this one. Okay. Look at this post, which I thought it was like, I think it's cool that they're so willing to throw a LAN party, even though they're so busy, that they ran a how many hours is it? 4.5-hour LAN party. So let's take a look at some of these pictures. So LAN party with 8 lads. I like this setup. That is a lot of space. Like with how much room, I love that rug in the middle. But see, look at how much room they have once everyone is sitting in their chairs. This is a pretty sweet setup, though it looks like they've almost maxed out this space. But and look at this, the mood lighting, this is a vibe. But if you read the post, last week I hosted a LAN party at my place with 8 people, which is an awesome number to have. With LAN parties, you can have a LAN party with as little as 2 people. I think for the minimum though, my ideal number would be like 3 to 4, and at max would be what we probably currently run, around anywhere from like 12 to 14. Any bigger than that, then it's just really hard to like, you know, like corral everyone together. Oh. Never mind. I thought the wireless mic was working. It's just not. It's deciding not to work today. Cool story, bro. Cool. But yeah, going back to this post, everything was organized down to the minute. Even the pizza order was planned ahead. unlike us, where we decide that day, like, all right, what are we gonna get, and all that. The pizza ordering for our LAN parties is a part of the LAN party. Like, we always got to have like a 20 to 40 minute discussion on what we're ordering, and we got to banter back and forth. But so they played Call of Duty 2. What is BFME 2? Is that one of the Battlefield games? Like the futuristic? Oh no, Battle for Middle Earth. What? Wait up, Battle for Middle Earth 2? Oh, it's an RTS game. Okay, so they played that. So they're playing like kind of like old school, not like super old school, like original Doom old school, but like older games, like decade old. Battlefield 6 ran from they did a LAN party from 8:30 in the morning till 1 p.m. Short but absolutely worth it. I don't think I would ever personally do a 4.5 hour LAN party, because just getting everyone together, setting up the rigs and all of that is already like, it's kind of a big task. Especially if you only have like one PC, or you take your main PC, which I do. Tearing down my setup to like pull out my PC, disconnecting all my monitors, my peripherals and all that stuff. Hauling it, especially since I live an hour away from the rest of my friends, and they live an hour from me, so either direction people are traveling. 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. LAN party to me is like mind-blowing. But hey, looks like they had a good time. They said it was absolutely worth it, so all the power to them. But when I saw that, it was one of like the most unique LAN party story experiences or posts that I've seen in a while. But yeah. It's like taking a 12-hour flight to stay somewhere for a weekend. I think that might even be worse. It's like taking a 12-hour flight to be somewhere for one day and then like leaving like at the end of the day. It seems like gaming for 2 minutes, then time to go. I mean, they say everything was organized down to the minute, but I feel like, so for our LANs, we've tried to do that before, where we're trying like, all right, this is the time to play this, and we still somewhat do it, but for us now, the LAN parties have evolved to be kind of like a vibe. Like, as you see in most of the footage, we do play a lot of games because it is a long weekend. I don't put a ton of gaming footage in because I don't think that's the most, like, memorable moments. The most memorable moments is just all being in the same place together, just hanging out. And that's why there's a lot of footage of me just randomly walking around while people are like, conversing with each other on their computers, playing whatever random games that they're playing, either solo or in small groups. But yeah, trying to organize everyone to constantly be, all right, now we're playing this. All right, it's this time, now we're playing this. It becomes too much of a hassle, and it almost feels like kind of like too structured, in my opinion. Some structure is good because we do want to do gaming sessions where everyone is playing at the same time, but I couldn't imagine planning it down to the minute. I understand in this case though, because they only land for 4.5 hours, so yeah. I didn't get a notification you went live, Rip. What? Techie Tech, you are one of the normal, constantly, you're a member and everything. What is YouTube doing when there's not even a ton of like streamers on YouTube? I feel like, okay, here's a question. I feel like in the tech space, there's like me, there's Zach, there's Breathorn, but like who else in this kind of PC and just who else in general, like not gamers, like does normal weekly streams? There's not a bunch, right? So could it kill YouTube to actually send out notifications to people who are actively subscribed to me, who attend the streams every single week, and are even channel members? Like, I constantly, like, almost every week, there's someone in the chat that says, I didn't get the notification, and they come in late. Even though by now, I feel like the stream is every Wednesday at 5 p.m. PST. I don't think have I ever been like late to stream? I think at most I've been like 1 or 2 minutes late, but it's been pretty consistent now. So just always assume there's a stream unless I actively put out a post that there isn't. Yes, Jason has been on and off. I know he streamed this Monday, but and he was streaming consistently before that, but he took a break. I actually don't know why. He took a break, but yeah. But in terms of like, okay, even adding Jason in there, you can probably count on like two hands how many people consistently stream on YouTube side of things. So would it kill them to just send out the notifications? Because there's not like a bombardment of so many people streaming, you know. Robitech also yeah, okay, no, you're right. Robitech, Braithorn, me, Zach, let's say Jason in there. But Jay, I know like Jay at one point was trying to stream, and he had the RTFM podcast, which I forget if that was live or not. But like he's not like consistently streaming week after week. Toasty Bros does do daily streams. You're right. Let me see. Do they keep their VODs on YouTube? I know the stream. I feel like there's like Zach and Toasty Bros. Their viewership is bigger on the Twitch side of things. I don't know if they post. Today we're gonna. Oh, let me see. Toasty Bros. Yeah, Toasty Bros is if they stream on YouTube, it's not showing in their VODs because their latest live stream that you can watch is 7 years ago. I know they do like their morning builds and stuff, but I thought that was on Twitch side of things. Oh, did they move it to Toasty Clips? That's what it is. Let me see. Live stream on there. Toasty Clips live. Oh, yeah, okay. So they do stream over there. Interesting. I'm so curious why they don't just do it on their main channel. I don't feel like streaming on YouTube hurts your viewership, especially since I think in the past, maybe, even though I've been streaming even before they put this live tab in. But, like, I feel like their overall VOD viewership and live viewership, if they use their main channel, would be higher. But maybe it's because... No, I feel like this is related. Cause I could understand maybe if they wanted to separate their PC Bros side of the business. But a lot of these builds, I think, eventually make it into videos, too. So... and it's like the same set, so interesting why they wanted it. Maybe they're just diversifying their channels and stuff. But yeah, so still, I mean, we're still under, 2 hands worth of counting how many content creators stream regularly. RTFM, okay, I thought it wasn't live, though they made it look like it could have been a live format. Jay hasn't streamed regularly in a while. Yeah, I think he does like normal streams here and there. Yes, SI. There are a lot of system integrators that do kind of like who popularized building on stream. Was it Artesian Builds, or are they just the most notorious one because they got taken down? But I feel like before Artesian Builds, there were less system integrators that did the live building thing. And then after the whole controversy went down, I thought I noticed more of them popping up that started to do it. But, yeah, system integrators building their stuff. But I don't know if I would count that in the same category as, like, tech content creators who, like, talk tech and things like that. Oh, yes, you're right. Craft computing. I think we're still under 10, though. So there are a lot that I'm forgetting, but it's not a lot, is what I'm saying. Compared to if you go on Twitch just chatting or an equivalent, there's like a bajillion streamers that are constantly pushed on there. Techie Tech, man, the biggest LAN party I hosted was me and 2 of my friends back in California. The biggest one, so 3 people. Living in Illinois now, met 1 person near me through work who plays games, but that's not enough for LAN. Honestly, how small? Our smallest LANs were probably 3 to 4 people back in high school. I would be okay with doing a cozy LAN and playing games like Valheim, Pal World, Minecraft, those type of games where it's really tough to do in a big group, but in a small group you can hone in and just straight up game the whole weekend. I really want to do a Pal World mini LAN, but it's way too difficult now with having kids. But that was like one of my planned games to do. The most recent mini LAN my friends and I had, and I had to attend remotely. It was like 5 people. We all played Terraria for a weekend. But doing remotely is not the same. Trying to remote into a LAN, you end up getting too distracted and you're not in the moment and stuff. And you just aren't as like, I guess, immersed in the gameplay in the LAN itself. So the Terraria mini LAN that I attended through and I played through Discord on chat with them, I did not game as much as I would have had I been there in person. Do a WoW LAN? I wish my friends loved WoW. In my friend group, the LAN crew, there's me, there's James, there's Martin, and David, who I think actively still like WoW. Jan played WoW way back when, but he hasn't touched that in like over a decade. Though he might be down to do a WoW LAN for a weekend. And then Jesse Jesse played some Dragonflight. So like less than half of us like WoW. And I wish, because I would love to hop back in and do a long weekend of just nerding out specifically on WoW. Should I wait for Steam Deck 2 or buy one now? I think the way it works out is the Steam Deck current one, you can find them for so cheap, at least in the used market, right? Like sub $300. The new one that's going to come out, I imagine is going to be closer to like $500-$600. So it's not an apples to apples comparison, because it's like saying, should I buy an RTX 3060 right now, which is like, a few years old, it's like $200, or should I buy the RTX 6060 that is going to come out a year and a half from now for $500? I think they're going to be different classes of items, and I don't think there's like much of a, to me, it's either, do you want the latest and greatest thing, or do you want something that just works for a cheaper price? One second. Oh man, that was a big sneeze. But I will say, if you buy a Steam Deck now, I feel like their price isn't gonna, like, they've taken a really big depreciation hit already. Like with all used things, you kind of have a kind of like a, not a bath, yeah, you could call it like a bathtub curve, where right now it's not gonna lose much value in the next year or two, and maybe way down years from now, for the nostalgic sake, they might go back up in value, like following the bathtub. But I'm kind of looking for a Steam Deck Gen 1 right now. I was trying to make a video on it, but I've just been so busy. I'm working on like multiple things at once right now. Like, let me show you guys. The server video is finally gonna come to life, but I've got the case right here. So here's this case fits 12 3.5-inch drives. What was this case called again? The Classical Storage Master. But yeah, so I'm working on this. I'm working on some more pack stuff. And I'm working on a PC build. But I need to somehow fit the Steam Deck PC trade video in there. Oh wait. Oh yeah, UFD Tech as well. Still, I think maybe we're at 10 now, but that is, for the amount of content creators there are in the tech scene, that's a pretty small amount. I saw Daniel, you said something about the Dino Nuggets. Where was that message? You asked about why are we so obsessed with Dino Nuggets? Where the heck is it? You have a very noticeable... Oh, here it is. It's way back here. What is our deal with Dino Nuggets? We're crazy about them. It's one of those things that... I mean, with everyone's friend groups, there's like inside jokes and references that kind of you guys only get. And this is... The Dino Nuggets almost was an unintentional meme from, I think we started getting Dino Nuggets the second LAN. So it was still the first year of LAN, like in 2016, the summer LAN of 2016, I believe, was when we decided to buy Dino Nuggets, and it kind of just stuck around ever since. I think Dino Nuggets, in terms of like internet lore, is a pretty memey, like iconic food item. It's kind of funny because if you think about it, it's chicken breast or chicken pieces shaped in dinosaur shapes, which is like a very childlike item, but surprisingly, adults like love the taste of it. So it's just a stupid kind of inside joke thing that carried over from video to video, and now it's just become cemented in what we do. The Dino Nuggets kind of serve a pretty good purpose specifically for Lando, because I even have Dino Nugget, what's it called? Dino Nugget and Tots little icons for the members. But the Dino Nuggies are nice because they're kind of low priced, and they're a quick food that you could heat up, and everyone kind of likes them, right? They serve a purpose as filler food between the main meals at LAN, and for like emergency midnight dinners, emergency quick breakfast before we have time to cook breakfast. They can just snack time at any point. They go well with pizza. Yeah, so that's the story with the Dino Nuggets. It was just a thing that wasn't intentionally planned 10 years ago, and now it's kind of like it's one of the running jokes. Have y'all checked out Guild Wars 2 recently? I tried. I don't think Guild Wars 2 holds up well this many years later, graphics-wise. Everything looks kind of blurry in that game. Everything's super, like, overly bloomed and blown out with, like, the shine. And just the graphics, I don't think holds up well. WoW has updated his graphics over time. Guild Wars 2, I don't think they've done, like, major graphics rehauls. But, yeah. I played Guild Wars 2 when it came out in 2012, like, a lot. I've sunk in, like, hundreds. I don't know if I ever hit 1,000 hours. I don't have it on Steam, so I use the ArenaNet launcher, so I don't know how many hours I have on it. But definitely like at least 300, 400, 500 hours in Guild Wars 2, and it held my interest for the time. But I don't think I could get back into it in 2025. I will definitely play Guild Wars 3. I'm excited about Guild Wars 3, but Guild Wars 2, I don't think it holds up well, like timeless wise, as WoW does. Hey, what up, Zero Core? Greetings, greetings, greetings. What was the case called? Let me pull it up. What is the thing? Classical Storage Master. Sorry. Okay, it's Dark Rock. I forget because it doesn't show it. So this is the reason I chose this case is because it's pretty budget friendly. It's under $100, and it has 8 drive cages for 8, and they're paired up by 2s. So there's 8 there. You can't really see it, but on the power supply shroud, you can fit 2 of them right on top of the power supply shroud. And on the back side, there's a cage at the bottom, if I can find it. Oh, you can kind of see it in the picture right here. On the back side down here, there's that. But I think for me, I don't care about much except for how many drives it could hold. And that's pretty much it. The front is plastic and not metal, so that's kind of like where they kind of cut corners. But this is something you throw in the closet, you throw in somewhere, and just let it sit. So I don't really care that they use some plastic in the construction. And it has pre-installed fans. I have no idea how loud or quiet they are or how effective they are, but I would imagine they're fine. So I need to get this thing built and then make a video on it. Chang, yes, that's another meme from it, so. I'm planning on building my first computer, a 7800 X3D and a 9070. I'm contemplating if I should buy the parts now or should I wait for Black Friday Cyber Monday. I'm also close to Micro Center. Black Friday is still over 2 months away. I don't know how much of a discount. Like, maybe they'll run some sales where you get, like, 20 or 30 bucks off the graphics card, 20 or 30 bucks off of... Like, I think the way that you're trying to build, like, a pretty nice system. good parts like the 7800 X3D, 9070, they don't see crazy heavy discounts. Like I said, 10, 20, 30 bucks here or there. So sure, at the end of the day, you might save anywhere from $50 to $100 waiting for Black Friday. But a couple of things can happen. That time rolls around and the sales kind of suck and it's only like $10 or $20 discounts. You just waited then 2 months holding off your build to save 20 or 30 bucks. Like, is it worth saving 20 or 30 bucks to not have that system right now, 2 months earlier? I'm about to build a system with, I think a 7800 X3D. I'm still finalizing the parts list, but I'm thinking 7800 X3D 9070, exactly like you're saying. And I'm trying to target $1,500 for it. But I'm going to use it, make it for content. But so I can't wait for Black Friday. But I think right now with the way prices are, I think pulling the trigger right now is fine. You don't have to save every single dollar, especially when it means getting it early. You are next to a Micro Center, which already has good prices year-round, I feel. They have open box deals, so maybe you can take advantage of some of that. You're also aiming for 1,500. It's doable. Let me see if I have my Google spreadsheet. Build costs. Or never mind. I did not put it on there. But yeah, $1,500. It's got to be pushing it. And you might have to find... I was planning on using Amazon open box deals for some of the parts. But it would be a lot easier under 1,600. I was trying to push 1,500 because it's a nice rounder number for a YouTube title. But yeah, under 1,600, 7800 X3D, 9070 build, very doable. October Prime Day? Wait up. Is this a thing? October Prime Day. How many Prime Days do we have now? Here, what are the Amazon Prime Days in 2025? Okay. It was July. Was it only July and October? For some reason I felt like there was another one. I guess it's not that bad if it was just July. I will say this most recent Prime Day deals had some pretty banger deals on CPUs and motherboards. I don't remember if the 7800 X3D... See, 7800 X3D and 9800 X3D are so popular that they don't need to discount it. But in the i5s, like the 14600Ks and the like 9600s and 7600s and their X variants, there's no 9600. There's 9600X. But those, like the i5s and Ryzen 5s of the more modern platforms got really good discounts. I think, how much were those 9600Xs going for and 7600? Weren't they like 130, 140 during this last Prime Day? And right now they're normally floating around like 170. So those got some pretty good discounts. But if you're building on the high end, I wouldn't expect anything too major. Yes, I agree, Evotech. Black Friday is good for cases, power supplies, SSDs, RAM, but CPUs and GPUs, not so much. I will say there's typically like a specific deal here or there for, like, again, like I said, lower end chips. They usually give the bigger discounts on Black Friday. Like, you'll probably find a $20 or $30 off deal on, especially Intel. With everything that happened with Intel, it seems like they're doing everything to like just move inventory. So we've been getting some kind of crazy deal on like 13th and 14th gen Intel chips, but which I'm perfectly okay with. I still think at the right price you can go Intel, but a lot of people are so sour about the whole Intel chips killing themselves thing that they've like sworn off of Intel. But I'm okay with Intel. I just upgraded my platform to AM5 for 12th gen, from 12th gen. If I sell an Asus ROG Z690E motherboard, 1270K, and 5600 megatransfer RAM, what's a reasonable price? So you're trying to sell the RAM CPU motherboard bundle? Let's see. What? How much RAM though? We're talking. I'm guessing that looks like DDR5 speeds, so at minimum 32 gigs, which goes for new like what 90 something bucks. 6,000 goes for around that much. So let me see. So let's see 70 plus 170 240. I think like 350. How much are 12700Ks going for? That would be my only question. Because it is a kind of a dead socket, so let's see, 12700K. Intel chips hold their value for a stupid amount of time. Like, just because eBay says that there are some going for $200 does not mean I think it's worth that much. Let me take a look on Amazon, because 12700Ks had some discounts. Yeah, see, you can get a 12700K for less than 200 bucks. You can get it for used for 170 here. So why would anyone? I know the integrated graphics is worth something, but some of these don't make sense. Oh, this is brand new, I guess. Why would you buy brand new? But here's open box. So if we go by pricing of what you could get that's almost equivalent to it, I know the F variant is not the same, but to a lot of people, it's effectively the same. The ones that don't need the quick sync because they're not content creators, they're not video editors, they're not using the the integrated graphics. You could get a 12700K for 170 on Amazon without even trying. So I would value your 12700K used at no more than 170. But to be honest, Amazon, because there's tax and stuff, I feel like in the real market, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp and stuff, people expect to pay even less than what they could easily buy any day of the week on Amazon. So let's say your CPU is 150 plus your RAM. Did you say how much RAM you had? 32 gigs of RAM. Okay. I mean, let's just look at, I'm pretty sure it's around 90 bucks, but let's look at 6000 CL30, which is faster than yours. People can get that right now without even trying for 95 bucks. So I'd value your RAM being used at like 75. So 150 plus 75 is 225, and let's say your motherboard is worth anywhere from $100 to $125. That puts you at like 350 bucks, right? Though I'm gonna say, I don't even know if you could easily move it at that price. Again, the LGA 1700 socket is pretty much like it's reached the end. There's not much you could throw in there that will improve it much, and the stuff that you can't throw in there, people are deathly afraid of killing your chip. So I'm thinking to move it, 300 bucks. Unfortunately, right? I know you want to get probably the max on your return, but that's just the way it is in the used market. Especially since people expect buying more items from you, they expect to get a combo deal, right? So you pairing everything together, if you were to sell it as one piece, I'm thinking 300, because people can buy for around 350 bucks. They could buy AM5 like 7600X or something with a B850 motherboard plus 32 gigs of RAM for pretty close, and have the path to a X3D chip. Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, that's one of the things about like when you buy more premium items like from Corsair or NZXT and things like that. At the end of the day, I don't know of many people actively looking in the used market for specifically high-end RAM or high-end looking RAM, because you have the Dominators, but the speeds by this point, they're kind of like you can get faster speeds for cheaper. Dominators and Corsair both carry a premium to them. But to the guy or girl in the secondhand market, they're just looking for RAM. Like, people buying it used are looking to get a good deal on cheap RAM for the most part. There might be someone who's looking specifically for this. If you want to maximize, go to hardware swap. That's where you get more enthusiasts, people who might specifically be looking for things like the Dominator RAM. Though you're going to have to pay, 3% PayPal fee or something like that. and you might have to report it on your taxes on a W-9 if you sell enough for PayPal to send you a government document for the IRS. So that's the only tough part about trying to reach a broader audience. Used RAM is still expensive. Might as well buy new. Exactly. The thing, what's tough about RAM is that it's very durable. It lasts a long time. There's not much. People aren't as afraid of buying RAM as they are like storage, as they are like buying CPUs, which could have been overclocked. I guess RAM could be overclocked, but I feel like RAM is just RAM. It lasts pretty much forever. In the time I've like been doing PCs, I can't think of any specific time where a stick of RAM has just died on me. I have built so many PCs for family and friends. I don't recall ever anyone who I built a PC for years later coming back and saying, hey, my PC's having problems, and it ended up being RAM dying. So, yeah. Is it DDR4 or is it DDR5? 5600, I don't remember how fast DDR4 got. How fast did DDR4 RAM speeds go? 4800 or 5000, but I think that's with the crazy. I'm pretty sure you have DDR5 because it would be really expensive to get these DDR4 kits that push over like 4000. Yeah, okay, yeah. That would be like stupid expensive if it was DDR4. If the speeds even went up that high. You had DDR4 4133, and I'm sure you paid a pretty penny for that because RAM can get really expensive when you're starting to push the edge of that the generation. Okay, you guys, how have we had this much good conversation already for 52 minutes, and I haven't talked about the main parts of the stream? Let's talk about the exciting part that I wanted to get into. Sorry. Sapphire, and this was how many days ago? This is covered today by Video Cards. Sapphire selling motherboards now. And I saw it on Newegg. Surprisingly, they're not expensive. Look at the prices on these. Okay, there are some that are like $240. Again, you guys, if you've been watching my content, if you've been coming to the streams pretty regularly, I am someone who usually doesn't try to spend too much on motherboards because, to be honest, I think the money could be spent elsewhere in a better way. The only reason I would spend more on a motherboard, I'm not saying to get like a freaking A620 motherboard. I still try to stick to like the B650, B450, B550, you know, the B chipsets, so you get some overclock ability. But I feel like, why spend $300 on a motherboard when you could get a pretty good motherboard for like $150 to $200 and take that $100 to $150 spent to get a better CPU, to get more storage, to get a better graphics card, where I feel like you will feel the value more. But getting back to this, when I heard Sapphire was making motherboards, I was not expecting their motherboards to be this affordable. Look at these prices. This one's $130. Why is this one so cheap? Oh, they're making, wait up. There's B650 boards, even though these are AMD told manufacturers to stop making these. This is kind of funny because I think the B650 chipset is still perfectly viable. And if you're looking at the prices, like look at the equivalent. So this is a Nitro Plus. The 850s are going to cost more, but what I was trying to say is I'm surprised at these prices because does anyone remember how much the EVGA motherboards cost on their arrival? Typically, I thought they were on the more expensive side, like easily 200 plus. The problem is that Newegg does not list if it was shipped from the US instead of China. Let's take a look. This is sold by Tech Edge. Shipped by Tech Edge. Let's see if we can find any information on them. Tech Edge store about us. They are from China. Shipment. Arrival in 2 to 7 business days, it says. FedEx. Don't ship on weekends. Interesting. Look at one of those reviews. Wait, what? Look at one of those in the reviews. Not promising. Okay, let's take a look. These are so new that I don't know if I would trust the early reviews yet. Like, of course, when you only have 2 reviews, there's a higher chance of you getting like a lower because it hadn't had a chance to average out yet. Where are the drivers? Okay, let's see. It doesn't need an update to support my 9600X and it looks pretty, okay? I previously left the review and didn't go through, so I'm reiterating my main complaints here. First, the manual has little, if any, English. Most words are in another language. A beginner may be more confusing. Okay, which I think for enthusiasts might not be a problem, but yeah, kind of weird to not to have it available in the English market and not have the manual in English. I wonder if they'll update that on the website. Secondly, I cannot find any drivers online to update the motherboard. The QR code in the manual links to WeChat. Oh God, that's bad. Okay, even after reading all this though, I feel like, and maybe this might be me being overconfident or whatever, but I feel like I would still buy a Sapphire motherboard to see, and I think it wouldn't be a huge deal, but let's see. I don't want WeChat, I want drivers. I'm wondering if any owners of B650 motherboards can even run any AM5 9000 series CPUs. When the next AMD CPUs come out, how I will support them. Okay, I think this, I mean, it just launched and got released, right? Oh no, this is from April. Yeah, so that's right. Someone was saying these have been here for a while. But I wonder if that's still the case today, because this is an older review. Stick with Sapphire GPUs. Their motherboards don't even provide the most basic drivers. Let's take a look at this. Let's see if we can go to their website and see if we can find anything. Asking people which GPU is a dope video. I have another one coming up. And it's going to be asking console versus PC gamers. And it's going to mainly focus on console gamers and why they don't want a PC. It was all from the same interviews. I strategically asked questions so that I could get like different YouTube shorts and videos out of it. But to me, it wasn't too crazy that people have no clue. Because not everyone's a PC enthusiast or PC builder. It's kind of like if you ask me details about my car. Past me doing the research, I've forgotten all the like details about the car. In my Toyota Yaris, I've been driving for over a decade now. I don't remember any of the specs about the engine. I don't remember like anything. I just used the car as a tool. So people using a PC as a tool and not knowing the specific specs, they might have known it when they bought the parts. But if you're not an enthusiast, why do you need to remember it long term, right? Same with anything else I use on a daily basis. I don't remember the details of like, I remember doing a lot of research on the washer or dryer when my wife and I were in the market for one. Now, I don't even know like the details of it aside from its like Maytag. But yeah, I don't think it's too concerning or crazy that people don't know their specs. Okay, Sapphire Technology motherboard. Let's go to this motherboard. Let's see what they have in the support section. If I can even find it. Motherboard, Nitro Plus. Okay, here we go. Sure, we'll click on this. So, if you read the comments of that video, everybody's losing their minds that some gamers don't know what the specs are in their system. But when you saw me doing the interviews, right? Anytime someone who said they didn't know what their graphics card was or they didn't know anything, like, I'm not trying to make a person look bad and I'm not trying to look down on people for things. It might be surprising that they didn't know stuff, but I think that's totally normal. I can't even remember my 3D printer, which I did so much research and I bought and now I don't even use it anymore. But like, I always confuse if I have an Ender 5 or an Ender 5 Pro or an Ender 3. Like, I am constantly having to look up my Amazon order for the 3D printer I bought when I did so much research before buying it, and now it just sits in the corner because it sucks. I hate Creality. I want to get a Bamboo so bad. But that's just another example of something similar to that, right? Like, if I went into if someone asked me, do you have a 3D printer at a convention randomly, I'd be, oh yeah, I have one. And they'll say, what model do you have? I wouldn't know what the model is. And if you posted that video to the 3D printing subreddit or community, they'll probably be like, what the hell? How does this guy not know the thing that he bought? I'm like, bro, there are things that you're more enthusiastic about, and then there are things that you're not. And then some people, they just use things as tools, and they enjoy their brain capacity being focused on something else. Ender printers rock? No, they don't. They do not. Especially for people like me who want to use as a tool and not as an enthusiast. I think my relationship with 3D printers is very similar to what people would call PC casuals is to their computer. They don't care to work on it. They don't care to have to do upgrades on it. They don't care to tinker. They just want it to work out of the box, to use it for what it was intended for, to print things. But Micreality Ender 5 Pro has been a nightmare. It cannot get a sturdy print no matter how many video tutorials I've watched, changing out the filament type, changing out the print heads, messing with temperatures on both the print, the nozzle and the bed. It just sucks. I want a Bamboo because I can unbox it, start printing, and it just works. But okay, we're on the Sapphire motherboard page. If we go to support, wait, can I get driver downloads? Okay, chipset drivers. This was 820. Okay, so they had a chipset driver that's somewhat recent. APU graphics driver, somewhat recent. Where's the BIOS? Usually they separate it by like... Oh, here it is. Here's the BIOS. Bro, is that what this person was talking about? When I click on BIOS, it takes me to this page. With nothing. This is the page it takes me to. Right here. It's not even like... It doesn't even have BIOS... in the URL, or like it doesn't have anything that would hint towards this being a page for BIOS. This is kind of funny because I think Sapphire, for the most part, is a company that's held in high regard. When it comes to their graphics cards, people can't recommend them enough. Their customer support, really good. It's funny to see that they dropped the ball on the motherboard side of things. Gotta go snag some early Halloween candy. Yeah, gotcha. I have an Ender 3 and the learning curve isn't easy, but it's still rewarding. Yeah, the issue is I don't have time. Like, if 3D printing was my main hobby and the thing that I did, oh, for sure, I would be okay with it. But being a full-time content creator, already being into more like PCs and gaming PCs, and now having twin daughters, there's no way. Like, I can't. I now understand even more so. I've always understood why people liked pre-built gaming PCs and they didn't want to build themselves. They just don't have the time. But now I extra understand that mindset and viewpoint of the people who just want to buy something that works and not mess with it. So that's the parallels I always draw. To be fair, I wasn't at a PC building or tech conference. I was at PAX, which is a gaming expo. So there are a lot of people who are gamers but are not PC builders or tech enthusiasts, if that makes sense. Yeah, but you're right. Why would I be at a 3D printing conference and not know what printer I have? That would be kind of odd. And why would I not prepare myself? I was just trying to make like loose parallel connections. What's up, Staying Murderer? This is Staying Murderer and not Staying 2007. What we got multiple Stayings up in the house. Is your wifey family gamers? Yes. All of my brother-in-laws, which I have 4 of them, are huge gamers. And I've helped multiple of them. Actually, I've helped all of them build at least one gaming PC at one point in time. They've gotten to the point where they can now build their own PCs. Some of them. So... but yes, they have brought their computers over. They've set it up here. We've had like quick one-day mini LANs before. But yeah, all of my wife's brothers game. I need to go to the Chinese site. Can't I just change the language to Chinese? Okay. Let me change the language. Does that count? Oh, God. Dude, I'm gonna, like, screw up the whole website. Why would you... That's weird. It's... If that's the workaround, then at least there's a workaround. I'll give them that. But it's so strange how you have this website for this product in English being sold in American markets, North American markets, and other English-speaking countries to not have the solution here. That's weird. Do they play Dota? I don't think any of them play Dota or League. No. I don't either. I used to play League back when it came out. Was it 2009, 2010? Around that time frame when I was in college. I played League for the first like 3 or 4 seasons pretty regularly. And then I just dropped off of it. I couldn't keep up. Okay, so I gotta go to the Chinese website for the BIOS. Sapphire B850 BIOS. If for the next build, I think I already have set on my Amazon open box motherboards, but I would not be against using Sapphire motherboards in the future. I think there's ways around it, it's looking like, and they have to fix this. There's no way Sapphire is just gonna, you know, have these motherboards and just make people be unable to use them due to lack of BIOS updates or any of the other chipsets or driver stuff being available. Chinese, how would I find it? How am I supposed to find this though? I did not mention anything about Intel GPUs yet, Toxic. We were talking about everything but the mainstream topic, which I think is a good thing, right? These streams, we kind of go with the flow with how chat is, and chat had a lot to talk about before we got into the main topics. So, does anyone have a link to the Chinese website? And if so, can you link it on the Discord server in stream submissions or anything? Because I'm not sure how you're supposed to be able to find this if me literally typing in B580 BIOS Chinese is not bringing it up. Like, how am I supposed to hunt for this thing? EVJ and NZXT not good for BIOS, which is why I see the mainstream. Yeah, so as we're trying to look for this BIOS, Sapphire doing this is pretty reminiscent of, to me, NZXT and like EVJ motherboards. Very kind of like niche brands with a small selection or offerings. Though it looks like for Sapphire, it's kind of hard because of the way Newegg lists things. I don't know how many unique motherboards we're looking at here. Let me see if I can sort out the combo deals. Yeah, see, they're still throwing in the combo deals. It's looking like there might be, Sapphire A520s. So for each chipset, they might have one, and then on the higher end, they might have like 2 versions, Pulse versus Nitro. It still looks like single-digit number of motherboard offerings from Sapphire. But, man, I should buy one. 128, brand new, not a bad price. It says it works for AMD Razorback. Dudes, about to drive so can't chat, but hell yes, love Sapphire. Is that just AM5 boards? It's looking like it, Shauner. And apparently some of these have been around, because in that review, they've been around for months now. This review for this board, how is this back in April? And I didn't hear a peep of it. Where's the second review? Oh, this is the last overall. Wait, so there's one. Where's the second one? Or someone didn't leave a review. They just rated the eggs. So it looks like someone rated it a 5 eggs. So it has bad ratings because it's averaging between 1 5-star and 1 1-star review. Thirdly, I bought the Wi-Fi motherboard, but it didn't have Wi-Fi. Yeah. What? I thought after updating it thoroughly, it would. Did you get the one with the antennas? If they ship you the wrong product, then you just have the wrong product with no Wi-Fi. Yeah, but if it has... I'm curious if they got a non-Wi-Fi version that doesn't even have the antenna connectors. So it's kind of hard to say. They are not ready for the global market, but I think it will come. Okay. Not a bad tinker around 128 like gambling. See how badass you can make it. That could be a fun stream. Buying a Sapphire motherboard and just trying to use it live on stream. Maybe I buy one. Because I don't think I could ever have enough AM5 motherboards on hand. I'm usually buying them to help people upgrade their systems when they're ready to. Because right now I'm pretty much, for my friends and family, I'm pretty much building almost exclusively AM5 builds. What link? Mods can't do anything about links posted on YouTube, unfortunately. I can't even do anything about it. But, if you post it to the Discord, that would be the best place. Though not everyone would be able to go in there. Oh, mod logs. Let me see. Was it posted in here? Nope, it was not. But yeah, if anyone has the link, drop it in stream submissions and we can take a look at it. I did not see... Yeah, the mod logs usually catches stuff and then I could see what got deleted. But I don't think anything auto-deleted. What website am I trying to find? I'm trying to find the Chinese website with the Sapphire BIOS and drivers and stuff. Because apparently they have really bad support for it right now. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to buying... Yeah, this one... Does this have Wi-Fi? See, I wonder if they bought this version. Here's a non-Wi-Fi version. You can see it in the picture right here. There's cutouts for the Wi-Fi antennas, but it's not there. So I wonder if they just got shipped the wrong one. 128? Okay. I wouldn't buy this one because I think in this day and age, it's pretty helpful to have Wi-Fi on your motherboard built in. Ain't no one trying to use a USB dongle adapter or put in an extra PCIe card or do any of that stuff. Just having Wi-Fi for those moments in time where you can't get an Ethernet connection, it's totally worth it. And that brings the price up to... Oh, man. For the Wi-Fi, though, it's like $40 extra. When you can get a Wi-Fi dongle through Amazon for like $10. It's not going to be as good as like having it built into the motherboard with antennas for the most part. Going through USB, but still, $40? That's not insignificant. So, that's the B650 motherboards. Let's see. I can't highlight anything. High-end board base. Okay. No mention of the X870 that was presented at Computex this summer. I think, overall, I am rooting for them to get their stuff together just because I would like more options for motherboards. I would like more competition. Motherboards are pretty affordable to be... Oh my gosh. Sapphire A520 for $70. Okay, what does that look like? A720. Or A520 rather. So they do have AM4. Shauner, if you're still listening, I know you can't chat. Oh, but I mean, this thing's pretty ugly. I'm doing it like a podcast where you're not able to watch, but you like for the listeners out there, I'm trying to describe it. For one, the box art and the board itself looks like something straight from AliExpress, like bare minimum. Yeah, this board, no like chunks of metal for heat sinks on the VRMs. No USB-C. It looks like. Yeah, just a very bare looking. It looks like a machinist style AM4 board from AliExpress. This Sapphire A520 board. But they have one, so there's that. It looks very Chinesey. That's a good way to put it. It looks like one of those global market motherboards. Let's just say that. How are the bundles at Micro Center? Probably some of the best of any retailer. I don't often hear of Amazon, Newegg, and stuff having good bundles as much as I hear about Micro Center. People are constantly talking about the bundle deals Micro Center has. Newegg sometimes has good deals on that stuff, but I would say year-round, Micro Center would be the place to go if you're looking for CPU, motherboard, and even RAM combo. The Chinese version of the website, yeah, that's what people, other people in the chat has been saying, but I can't seem to easily find it. So we'll leave it at that. We'll keep an eye on this story, and if there's anything major, like maybe in the next week or month, if they update the English website to check it out, I might buy one, and maybe we can mess around with it. Oh, Stang, you posted the link? Where? You can't post a link on YouTube chat. YouTube chat, like, I don't even have the ability to approve links, guys. If you post a link in YouTube chat, I think it automatically gets deleted. It doesn't give me the option to allow the link to go through. So I don't know where you might have posted the chat, but let me check the mod logs. No, it doesn't look like anything got deleted by the auto mods, so. You have to be a moderator. I am the owner of the channel. I can see even more than moderators do. I don't think it's... actually, let me see. Let me look at the creator panel. Because even my panel, I don't think it's showing anything. Participation. Nope, that's not it. Viewer activity. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything where it allows me to look at the links you guys are posting. Oh yeah, moderators and me can send links. Yes, you're correct. Yes. It doesn't let me approve links, but myself and moderators can send links in the chat. But I'm not just going to give, like, viewers moderator just to do that. What sometimes people do is they post a link and break it up, like put spaces in it so it's not an actual link, or get rid of the periods and put parentheses dot, and then I could rework the link. But if it's a long link, then it's not going to work. If you guys aren't on the Discord server, here we go. Someone posted it. Okay, let me see. Panda posted something and Geldor posted something. Okay, we got it. Thanks, guys. So you said on the very bottom. So they said on the very bottom of where? On download the latest tricks. No, we saw this. Who posted that one? So Panda, we saw this. We were looking for the BIOS specifically though, but when you click on BIOS, it takes you to this screen. So that's nothing. So the American site just simply doesn't have it. Here's the Chinese site. Okay, so we see this here, but where's the BIOS? Oh, BIOS right here. Yeah, that's so weird. This is the exact same website except in Chinese. Wait. Let me try something. So let me go back to this one. Change the language to Chinese. Okay, and it took me away. Sure. And then we go down. So just by changing the language, we can get the BIOS to pop up. And there they are. This is so strange. What kind of decision was that? Like, was that intentional, or do they not realize the US website doesn't have the driver, the BIOS? Or maybe it might be intentional because they haven't rolled out like the English version, I guess, or with English instruction. Every time you download BIOS, it comes usually with like extra text files and stuff for how to do things, and maybe they don't have the English version ready to go. I don't know. It should be fine. You could use your phone to take a picture and do Google Translate to get you through the process. But okay, huh. It seems okay, some people say definitely intentional, some think an oversight. Either way, I think for if you're a tech enthusiast or into this, like I think most of us in the chat would be able to figure it out, right? So if you're interested in a Sapphire motherboard, not sponsored or anything, but I'm just a fan of Sapphire. It looks like they have boards for pretty reasonable prices. Which again, let's see, EVGA motherboards. Every EVGA motherboard there ever was. Is Google AI smart enough to tell me? I think the issue with Intel, or with EVGA was, from what I remember, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, or enlighten me, anytime I ever saw EVGA motherboards mentioned anywhere, like when they were still making motherboards, they were always kind of the more higher end, expensive, niche chipsets. I don't remember them having motherboards that were like on the more affordable range. It seemed like everything they made was like 200-300, which 200 back in the day was like a lot, right? But they were on the more expensive enthusiast side. Now, Google AI is telling me, wait, it's listing key Intel chipsets, but I'm trying to look at what chipsets EVGA made motherboards for, and I never owned an EVGA motherboard because they were so expensive and kind of on the rarer side if you compare them to like the rest of the manufacturers, right? But Sapphire seems to be a lot more affordable and attainable for the average person. Yes, that's what I was going to say. They were expensive. That's what I remembered, but I was wondering if anyone had more insight, because honestly, I know nothing about the EVGA motherboards that existed. Let's go to EVGA's websites and see if they still list any of their motherboards in their legacy products. Power supply. It's so weird. Like, again, RIP EVGA. How is it that you were a company known for all these different things, and like they don't, do they even really make motherboards anymore? Not really, right? But they still list their motherboards. Why would you take off the information about your graphics cards? There are companies that don't even, like, once products become legacy, they're out of production, they're just like old, you can still find the spec sheets and information about them from pretty much any other manufacturer. But EVGA has like wiped their website clean of the graphics card. At least you have to dig more for it, which is so weird to me. Like, you were making graphics cards for how many years and developed that reputation, and now, like, let me look at a 600 watt power supply. I swear EVGA, like, some of these power supplies, they, like this 600 GD, I don't even know if they really make these brand new anymore, but they still list them on the website. I think this is like an obsolete-ish product. The last time I saw these were like in the Newegg, or not the Newegg, on the EVGA B stock, and I bought a bunch of them used. I don't know if you can buy these new, but no graphics cards. Was it NVIDIA? Yes, it was their relationship with NVIDIA that kind of deterred or like turned them away from the GPU market. But still, it's kind of weird for people who want to find information for cards that still exist out there. You know, EVGA 3000 series cards are still very much a thing. People still might want to go find, if they have the EVGA versions, right? Either the software from their website or to just look at the specs. Yeah, so motherboards. Let's look at all their motherboards. Okay. Obviously, these are Z790. I mean, they only promote up to 13th and 12th gen. I'm pretty sure maybe these have BIOS updates for 14th. Let's see. Can we find BIOS? It would suck if you had a Z790 board. Like, you were like, hell yeah, EVGA, I want to support you. And you couldn't even update it to run 14th gen chips. CPU support list. Let's take a look at this. Huh. Anyone know anything about this? Can you run 14th gen Intel chips on Intel LGA 1700 socket motherboards? But either way, look at... These are the two that they have listed. That probably because they're not legacy. They're still technically like relevant motherboards. I searched 3080 Ti on Google and a page from EJ with specs just came out. Okay, so you can still find it. It's just they've hid it from the front-facing sections of the website, which is really weird. Could EVGA contract with AMD now? That's would be the dream, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be the dream if AMD had both Sapphire and Power Color, which is good, and EVGA under the belt? And it would even be cool because XFX, I feel like, is a pretty good brand that is exclusive to AMD. So it would be cool if EVGA switched sides. I don't think that's gonna happen, unfortunately. But I'm not sure if I've read any interviews or any specific details regarding that. Does anyone know why you have a crown? I think it's because you've been chatting a lot. I think YouTube's doing this weird thing that it's trying to like rank people depending on the activity. So. Yeah, they lost their best engineers to other companies. Yeah. But, yeah, part of the reason why I never messed around with EVGA motherboards because, it was kind of hard to even find them in the used market because people would still ask for an arm and a leg for them. And again, I think the motherboard, my stance has always been don't cheap out on a motherboard, but don't like overspend. And it is so easy to overspend on a motherboard. Like, in what world would these prices have ever made sense? Extreme overclockers, maybe. I don't even know how good these boards are at overclocking, but I mean, these are Kingpin board. This one's a Kingpin board. So I would assume it would be, or it would have its like either overclocking or other like special, like 10 gig LAN. What else is good about this thing? That justifies $800 that you could have spent on a $200 motherboard and upgraded to a $500 more expensive, or a $600 more expensive graphics card or CPU, right? Cheap out if it's a Tomahawk, good quality, good price. Yeah, I'm a fan of Tomahawks. So much of a fan that I can prove it because I actually have a B450 Tomahawk right here, which is what's gonna go into my home server. But yeah, I've bought plenty of Tomahawk boards in the past. Steve Anderson says my MSIZ. Yeah. There are some pretty affordable even Z series boards from the different brands. Let me see. Is it still going for that much? Which I kind of like because you still have, you know, you have some overclocking capability without paying an arm and a leg for it. Like 115 for an overclockable board that you can BIOS update, even though I don't know about throwing in a 14th gen chip in there and how comfortable people would feel about that. But either way, it would still support it. And this isn't like the most bare board that you would expect, right? Paying only just barely over $100 for a Z series board. It's not as naked as you would imagine. Okay, so we talked about Sapphire motherboards. I'm so tempted, but man, the girls' diapers, formula, and baby wipes are so expensive. I cannot be just spending frivolously. So I need to figure out if I have a different AM5 build coming up that I could buy one of these for. But then do I feel bad about it for putting a Sapphire motherboard that could potentially have problems into a family member or friend's PC? So I need to think about it before I pull the trigger on one of these. I really want to buy one, but I need to be more conscious about my spending these days. I have other mouths to feed now. Hey, what up, Chris? Chris, is the person who needed to be in the chat when we were talking about EVJ motherboards. Chris, did EVJ ever make affordable motherboards, like under $200, or were they all very enthusiast grade expensive? I know Chris is a huge fan of like the different EVJ. That's okay. I think the only EVJ products I really ever used over the years is the graphics cards. But they have other things too. Like they make all-in-one liquid coolers. They make keyboards. They make gaming mice. They make capture devices and stuff, right? Oh, okay, no, sorry. Power supplies and graphics cards are the only things I really use EVGA products for in the past. Everything else, I never like, I don't know. There's so much to choose from. Like, so I can't really speak on the quality of like their gaming mice and keyboards and things like that. Chris said I will rock an EVGA mouse. We could no. Don't super chat the motherboard fund. Do not do that, please, because YouTube takes, I think for super chat, I don't know what the cut is. It might be 30/70. Let's see. I don't think it's 50/50. Okay, super chat's not as bad. It's 30 to YouTube and 70, but still, I would no. Sapphire motherboard fund. Oh my God, Daniel. You've already done so much. Please don't. It's fine. I will figure out a way to pick up a Sapphire motherboard. I just can't pick it up right now on the stream. I'll try to find a way to work it into a future build video. And I already bought a different B850 board. So I do have an AM5 build coming up. It should be out in early October. But I can't like, I already bought that motherboard, so Techie Tech. Oh my God. Okay. First of all, thank you for the super chat, Daniel. And Techie Tech says, I have a trade deal. Here's some money to buy my Steam Deck off me so I can upgrade. Here's some money to buy my Steam Deck off me so I can upgrade my mobile CPU. Techie Tech, what are you even using for your hardware? What are you using for mobile CPU RAM? If you've told the chat before, I might have forgotten because we talk about so much in a single week, and there's so many people. I can't remember the intricate details about all of you. I'm sorry. But okay, we're done with the Sapphire motherboard talk. Even Chris says 2 of my friends still rocking EVGA X299 builds, but those are expensive motherboards. We don't do expensive motherboards here on the Nerd on a Budget channel. To me, it makes no sense. But now let's talk about the next big piece of news. Not the Phison thing. Wait, did I not bring it up? Battle Mage. Here we go. All right. If you guys can find the clip of whatever my predictions was, I don't remember the stream with the predictions. Reluctant Hero says, YouTube and Apple will take half of this super charge. So here's $5 towards a Sapphire board. Apple shouldn't take anything. I don't think Apple should take anything from that. I think I should get about $7 out of the 10, because for me, the YouTube platform, Apple may have charged you more, but for what you donated, I think the $9.99 was just that. But thank you for the donation towards the Sapphire board. You guys are gonna guilt me into having to buy that with these donations. Got them for free, one bolt. Now that's balling on a budget. Motherboard at least, yeah. So would you agree though, Chris? EVGA made motherboards that were not really attainable or sensible for the majority of PC gamers out there. Would you agree with that statement? Okay, see, even Chris, big EVGA enthusiast and had friends in the EVGA, like at EVGA, like Jacob and those other guys, and have had them on his stream, would agree. Okay, Intel Arc B770. Exciting news because I think my prediction. Oh my God, Daniel Diaper Fund $2 super chat. Wait up. Where's the Spitfire sound? Why did that not come through? Let me replay that for a second. There it is. Thank you for the super chat. Let me replay the other ones too, just because I didn't hear the sound go off. And Danny gonna do a Sapphire board in a B770 build. So, okay, let's take... I haven't even had a chance to read this. I just saw the headlines. So let's take a look. Intel plans to complete its ARC battle mage lineup with the highest performance B770 SKU. Thanks to Hayes2K1 on Twitter. Why are we calling it X? We know it's called Twitter. We found shipping manifests dated June 11th, which lists Battle Mage G31 GPU dies packed in boxes with dimensions matching those used before ARC B580. Last time with B580, the launch happened 2.5 months after these manifests were found. 2.5 months. Well, we're well past 2.5 months from June 11th, so that timeline isn't working out. But it seems like there's enough evidence that this might still be a thing. The current rumor mill suggests that the card will utilize 32Xe2 cores with 16 gigs of memory and a 256-bit bus, providing it with a clear capacity edge over the 8GB rivals from AMD and NVIDIA, like the 5060 Ti and 9060. So currently, if we look at Tech Power Up, B580. So B580, 12GB VRAM. If we look at the specs, relative performance, $250, but it still trails behind cards like the 5060 and the, where's that, 9060 XT. It's slower by like 36%. 5060 Ti slower by 40%. So, the uplift, yeah, I wouldn't expect for the B770 to be that much more powerful. I think it makes sense that it's going to compete with these cards. Fun for something. Oh my goodness. Panda Nihao. Thank you for the $5, not the $5, the $50 super chat. My goodness. We're already halfway through. Oh my god. Am I going to have to order this before the end of stream? Because you guys have already pretty much covered half. Well, before tax is taken out, because I will get taxed on those super chats, unfortunately. But then I could treat this as a business expense, so then it balances out. Okay. I gotta get this queued up to buy. I'm not gonna buy it on this window because I'm gonna have to put in my payment information. Do I get the cheapest board with the no Wi-Fi? Or do I buy the... Oh my god. Buy it, do it, take my money, budget poppy. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, I mean, we're at 60 from that, 62, 72, 82. Yeah, we're like at almost $90 already, which is the majority of the way to any of these. But what board do I buy? I'm tempted, not only because I'm a cheap ass and I'm nerd on a budget, but to me, the most least expensive things are like the most interesting to me. Like, I don't get as excited over expensive graphics cards as I do cheap graphics card. More diapers, I mean motherboard, Chris. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm leaning towards this $128 board because I'm very intrigued by this price. And if we could BIOS update it to support 9000 series chips, I think it's just more interesting. Obviously, when you spend more money, you typically get better product. Like, it's one thing to try to, like, test out the top bleeding edge of tech, but it's also, to me, more interesting to test out and scrape the bottom of the barrel, opposite side of the spectrum, right? Pedro Akura says, if it helps, I'm not rich. $2.49 super chat. Thank you, Pedro. That does help. Anything helps. Cammy, because you want it. Cammy Hudson, thank you. You guys are amazing. But what board do we buy? So there's multiple. Oh, this one's actually not bad. This one has Wi-Fi too. Wait, 149. Okay, let me sort this by price. We gotta sort by lowest price, just like the merch. We're not gonna get an A series board for sure. Staying 2007, $2. Hey, here's a little bit for the mobile. Thank you. I'm gonna have to, for everyone who super chatted, I'm gonna have to like write your guys' name in permanent marker on the back of the board or something. Okay. Do a $300 build. They said it was impossible. It's not impossible. I did a $251 one not even a year ago. You just have to use really old and used hardware. It's really hard to do a $300 brand new build. Just because some parts are just, you know, like power supplies and stuff. They just have kind of fixed pricing. Oh, okay. Okay, so there's the Pulse, the Nitro Plus, non-Wi-Fi. So this is the cheapest boards. It's the B650M. And then you go to the Wi-Fi version of that for only another $20. So this is more reasonable. I didn't see this board earlier. And then another $20 to get the Nitro Plus, which seems to have just a heatsink. Yeah, so on the top, this one is heatsinkless, and then this one has a pretty beefy heatsink up there. And then after that, they have the 850 boards start at 200. I'm so tempted to just get the 128 one. Maybe do a comparison, bro. Panda ni hao. Thank you for the. Oh my God, you just donated like $100. I have enough for the board now. The thing about motherboard testing is I don't have the tool. I don't have a ton of tools to test it. Like, you know how Hardware Unboxed, they have freaking temperature probes and everything like that. I can somewhat test it. And you guys do realize that this content isn't going to come for a while, right? Because anything that I plan for now is at least a month, if not plus, out. Just given the way the upload schedule works with how busy life has been. Better than me buying one to test this Tech Blacksmith. Here's $10 for the cause, you guys. Okay. We already have enough. Yeah, you guys are amazing. What the hell? We're supposed to be talking about graphics cards now. We're going to get back to the B770. I still want to talk about that. But we have enough for the board. You guys, you were supposed to donate over $128 because I'm really interested in the cheapest version of the B650 Sapphire board. Just click buy already, says Extreme Zone. Oh my God. Maybe you could use the mobile for your server build. The server build, I'm going AM4. So it's because I need the integrated graphics from the 5600G. So, and I want the server to be as cheap as possible because I spent so much on drives. So I want to use slightly older hardware for the server. But for this, I know I will have a use for an AM5 board. What are people saying? It's wired network. Yeah, I know that it's wired, but 150 for a Wi-Fi one. Interesting. So people said earlier you don't know where it ships from. This one specifically, the non-wired Wi-Fi one ships from the US. If I wanted the Wi-Fi one, it would be from China, which will probably take longer, and hopefully I'm not going to get some post-tariff expenses once it reaches the US and they hold my package. Does anyone have any experience buying Chinese products from Newegg? I think with AliExpress, people have had mixed experiences with that, where their packages got held up and they had to pay like extra on top of it. You click on from Newegg only? Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think they're going to have a version of this one from Newegg only. Let me take a look if they list buyers. Tech Edge, top rated, ship by. Yeah, they don't have other buying options, it looks like. For this one specifically, it's looking like China. My i7 6700K. Ralph, I was close to putting an i7, or no, an i5 6600K for my server. I have the motherboard and stuff, but we had a vote on one of the previous streams, and people voted for the AM4. $5. Oh my God, Daniel. Thanks for the super chat. Do you think the new Intel B50 professional card will beat the 3056 gigawatt? Both are below 70 watts, no supplemental power, and the B50 has more VRAM. I actually haven't looked enough into it. Let me pull up the thing. We could take a look at it. Intel B50 Pro card. But okay, here I'm gonna have a poll. I think right now, even though we've surpassed it after the fees, we barely had enough for the motherboard. But I'm gonna buy it. Which Sapphire board do I buy? Let's see, $128 Wi-Fi list card or board. There's the 150 Wi-Fi board. No top heat sink. And then how much is it? $170. $170 baller board with chunky heat sinks. Chunky board. Okay, this is the vote. And I will buy which one. So I'm more curious about the cheap ones because, and I've talked about this with regards to power supplies and stuff too. The use case is just gonna be in like, I don't know, $1,000 AM5 build. It's just gonna be used for an AM5 build. I have no idea what the final budget will be, but whatever this motherboard I get, I'm gonna probably pair some Ryzen 5 with it and then some graphics card, just for like a gaming PC build. But my thing is, with regards to like, I'm more interested, like power supply reviews, right? Like people know the PSU tier list and like hardware busters and everyone who tests power supplies. I don't care about power supply reviews for $200 power supplies. I don't care about power supply reviews for, you know, platinum power supplies. We know it's going to be good already. That's why it's expensive. Like, so similarly with motherboards, like, is anyone really going to question if $170 motherboards that's equipped to the gills with adequate, like, cooling on the VRMs, like, is anyone gonna question this is gonna work fine as an AM5 motherboard versus the cheapest option? I wonder how hot this top region is gonna get. I do have a thermal camera on a phone that I can use to measure the temperatures. It's kind of inaccurate, but still, if it's a B series board for AM5, I think there might be sensors. Or there might be some sensors on the VRMs. I'm not completely sure, but like, I think it's more interesting to see how far you could take low-end hardware than just to look at higher-end hardware that you know is just going to perform well. They do Ruby power supplies now. Yeah, I mean, I think gold is plenty fine in terms of the efficiencies, but yeah, to each their own. Heatsink is the safest thing, but unsafe could be potential interesting content. Here's more. Oh my god, Tech Blacksmith, $20. I mean, I think by now, pre-YouTube cut, we've surpassed $170. But what's the votes? Okay, people want me to get the chunky heatsink board. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. Not everybody has a cheap-ass mindset like me to want to see how far you could take the low end. Okay, this is and it's coming from the US, so at least I can unbox it next stream. How about this? We might be able to at least go look in the BIOS and do that type of stuff next stream if it comes on time. Let me see. Let me put this in my cart and check out with it. I want to change my vote based on your explanation. It's too late. You voted. But it makes sense, right? Like, the most interesting and the products that need the most reviews are the lower price, lower tier type items. Because nobody questions the expensive, good stuff from working. Plus, there's plenty of reviewers that test the high-end stuff. If you look at, like, between Tom's Hardware, Anantech when they still used to exist, Cybernetics, and any other review outlet that tests power supplies, there's, like, everyone testing the high-end stuff. So if one of them stepped away from testing high-end stuff to test low-end stuff, you would still have 4 people covering the high-end stuff, right? But, yeah. Danny's GoFundMe build. No. This was just for the motherboard. The rest of the build I got $10. Tech Navito says for the UF tariff that you will need to pay for ordering the motherboard. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. All right, let me sign into my Newegg account so I can order this thing right now, and I can show you guys proof of the receipt that I'm not just like taking your money and running to go buy hookers and weed. This should come in September 19th to 23rd. It says that is very slow. My gosh, September 19th. That's like a week and a half to 2 weeks. Okay, so we might not be able to unbox this thing for a while. We don't need proof. I know you guys trust me, but I like to go above and beyond and show. Oh, okay, let me see. And there's always some doubters and haters. Oh, I was really close to buying this one too for the build I was gonna do. So here, let me show you guys this. Shout outs to who in the chat posted this. Let me see. So on the Discord server, somebody posted this. Who posted it? Where's the B? Okay, this was Mag1631. I don't know if you're in the chat right now, Mag, but Mag posted this. I was gonna buy this for the upcoming build. This is an RX 9070 for actual MSRP. Now, this is a brown box version. OEM. I don't know if this means, is it open box or is it just doesn't have a nice box? Nothing about this says that is used. Let me look at the condition. But, see, this might be new. It might just not have fancy packaging. But, because I told you guys, I'm putting together a $1,500 7800X3D 9070 build. This is what I was going to consider. Let me look at the questions. Is this new? Being OEM's new GPU. Nobody's answered these. This OEM product, does it come with the same warranty? But I was going to buy this because at $550, the value is very hard to beat on this one. This is better value than $720 for the 9070 XTs, which is what they're going for. This is as close as we've gotten for AMD's higher-end cards being to MSRP. It could be an RMA refurb. That's the thing. They don't specify it, weirdly enough. Like, normally it tells you, like, specifically, is this new or used? But it's not. It does have a 2-year warranty period still, interestingly enough. So, I was gonna pick. I had this in my cart already, but I need to remove it because I don't know if I want to buy it yet. But I'm going to pick up this motherboard right now, which, oh my god, I'm going to get killed on taxes. I'm going to get charged $17 on tax because Washington State sucks. Alright, let me, I do the PayPal checkout too. I exclusively buy from Newegg using my PayPal account. Okay, we're gonna ship to me. Yep, continue to review order. Okay. Let me sign in the list real quick. Okay, so the total price is gonna be $187.84, and I get a $10 Uber gift card, Uber Eats gift card. Nice. For the off times that we do order from Uber Eats, only when they have like the crazy good deals, like buy one get one free. Because Uber Eats and DoorDash otherwise is a complete ripoff. Okay, so yeah, this is. Let me see. Let me place order. My PayPal's logged in. Place the order. They better send me the right one too. If they send me the Wi-Fi-less one or without the heat sinks, I'm gonna leave a bad review. Okay. Decline. No thanks. Okay. Let me view my order. There it is. I'm gonna do it without. I gotta do the order summary. We did it. We did it, chat. Okay. So we'll see when this thing comes in. Here we go. So, let's see. So yeah, it costs a total. Oh, what? Why can't I zoom in on the bottom? It was 184 though, or 187.84. I paid almost $18 in taxes because Washington State taxes is so high. I'll let you guys know what they update the shipping estimation to be. GPU taxes are paying because buying here in Georgia, 500 plus GPUs cost me over $50 in taxes. So glad I got sales tax exemption for my business. Wait, what's the usual tax rate for Georgia? Is it for $500 cost $50? That's like 10%. I didn't know Georgia taxes were that high. Yeah, Washington State tax is like, I'm pretty sure everywhere is at least 9%, depending on which like county and stuff you're in. It's like at least 10%. Let me see what my exact tax rate is. Sales tax. 10.6% where I live. As a person that's also buying 90 cent, why do you prefer Sapphire? Sapphire just makes good cards all around. I don't think I've really heard of a story of a Sapphire card having issues like you hear with some of these other brands, like the Gigabyte thing with the melting thermal paste and pads and stuff like that. Sapphire, for the most part, if you can do a Reddit search and look at user testimonials, but customer support, I think they're one of the more top-rated AMD exclusive GPU brands. They make solid cards all around for solid prices. Don't hear too many issues of them like failing prematurely or having like excessive coil whine. Coil whine happens like can happen across the board, but you don't hear like more than average amounts of stories of that happening, right? But yeah, I would say the same thing about Power Color though too. If you wanted to go Power Color versus Sapphire, I think I might have a slightly more of a lean towards Sapphire. But like if Sapphire is a 10 out of 10, I would say Power Color to me is like a 9.5 out of 10. It's that close. I would go by price. If they both had cards that I was looking to buy and the Power Color one was like even $20 cheaper, I would probably go Power Color. I don't think you could go wrong with either. Okay, so the board has been ordered. Now we can get back on topic. I'm sorry, guys. B7, where's that article? Not that one. Okay, Intel Arc cards. Sorry. It seems like people care more about Sapphire, even though we've tried to shift the topic of the stream. I think you guys were just super excited about the motherboard. But so thank you for that. I really do appreciate it, guys. Because I'm not joking around when I say like I kind of have to be a lot more responsible with my spending these days, with the twins here now. So, the timing will determine how much impact the B770 can have because AMD and NVIDIA already have control of the upper mid range. Yeah, so if this card comes out at, let's take a look at the pricing trend, right? So A770 MSRP Intel Arc when it came out, those released at $329 to $350. But if you wanted to look at apples to apples comparison, how much did the Intel Arc A580 MSRP at? This is not to say it's going to follow that same trend, but you see the A580 was $180, and when the 770 came out, it came out at almost double the price for the version that most people wanted. I'm not saying that's going to mean the B770 is going to come out at $500, which is double the $250 price of the B580. But if it wants to be competitive, and they can only, like, Intel's only going to be able to release such a powerful card, right? They're not going to be able to compete at the higher end with the 9070s, with the NVIDIA RTX 5070s. I don't believe that at all. So this card is likely going to compete with, like the article said, 5060 Ti's and 90, maybe 5060s and 9060 XTs. which means it can't cost more than $350 to $400. Any more than that, I just don't see it happening, or they're just gonna be dead in the water because it'll be too expensive for what they are. So if I had to make a prediction, performance-wise, price-wise, based on what the B580 costs, I'm thinking these come out. I don't want to say 350. I don't know if that's a big enough gap. I'm thinking like closer to 375 and 375, which now make it more expensive than the 9060 XT. So it's gonna have to slightly edge it out by anywhere from 5 to 10%. So that's my official predictions. B770 comes out at 375 and 5 to 10% faster than a 9060 XT 16 gig. Just looking at the numbers, looking at the price history, looking at what exists right now, that's gonna be my guess. They might compete with the 9070 GRE. Where does that fall again? It's kind of annoying how some of these releases aren't available in all markets. What? No way. They might compete with the 97. You're saying it's going to compete with all these cars? No way. I don't think it's coming. It's, let's see. Where's the 9060 XT and stuff at? 16? Yeah. I'm thinking it's going to, like, fall around this category. I no way. I'm willing to put a lot of money to bet it's not going to land even anywhere near up here. Yeah, I don't think it's even going to beat the 4070 Super, despite having more VRAM. There's no way. That's just not the trend we've been seeing with how much graphics card costs versus the existing, previous generation of stuff. If it was able to compete at this price, or at this, it's going to have to cost more than $500, and I don't see Intel releasing a card with that big of a gap. Danny, did you see the story about AMD releasing a mid-gen refresh of both CPU and GPUs? Is that the thing about Lisa Su presenting at 2026 CES or something? Let me see. AMD mid-refresh CPU, GPU. See if I can find the article. So, this sounds familiar. I might have just caught the article headline, though. Let me look at the news. 3 weeks. AMD refresh. See if I can find anything about that. If it was recent. I'm not seeing anything on it. Okay, Moore's Law is Dead talked about it. Then I did not see that. But if they did do a mid-gen refresh for both CPUs and GPUs, I'm not against that. For the most part, refreshes have worked out for the consumer's benefit. It just gives you more options. It gives you price slashes to the still relevant, existing generation of products. And they usually price the refreshes to be somewhat competitive and compelling for people to actually spend money on. So I'm not against it. It does make it a little bit more confusing for newer people entering the space, because now you just have like too many SKUs of products, and people are like, oh, do I get, do I get the mid refresh one or the previous one? And usually it works out to that, like both are going to be still viable. 16 gigs of VRAM speculated opening the door for 5070 territory. Well, not really, because the 9060 XT is still far from 5070 and has 16 gigs of VRAM. Look at the 5070 performance, which is up here. So we'll click on that, and that's going to be the 100% of the performance. And look at where the 9060 XT falls relative to it. 9060 XT 16 gigs. It's a whole 25% slower. So when I hear a card has 16 gigabytes of VRAM, especially with Intel, who seems okay with giving away more VRAM with even lower end or more entry level ish cards, I don't automatically expect them to pair it with cards that compete this high. I think they would be perfectly happy to throw 16 gigs on a card that operates within the territory right here. So, but that's just my predictions. Someone remember the streams for when they finally come out. Every time I try to like remember a prediction I made, it's so hard to find them in the past streams because there's no like transcripted text that I can look through and like control F. So I make these predictions often, but it's hard for you guys to fact check if I was right or wrong unless people actually make notes of them in like a spreadsheet or something. So I can make any wild predictions I want and no one can ever hold me to my word because no one is going to go through the task of watching past streams. Though I think I generally have a decent memory on these things. Yeah, hashtag predictions. If only we could just pull up hashtags from previous streams. Put a post-it on the wall. Actually, okay. Here's a post-it. I'm going to write it down and date it. I need a pen. Okay, prediction. This is a silver Sharpie. Let me get a... Okay. I'm gonna write it right here. So, prediction. B770 will cost $375 and be 5 to 10% faster than 16 gigs 9060 XT. This is what I gotta do from the future from now on. So I wrote it down with my ugly handwriting. B770 will cost $375 and be 5 to 10% faster than the 16 gig 9060 XT. Let's see how that plays out. I will put this on my broken monitor up here. Oh, actually, no. I need to put it where it's not going to fall. Where can I put this thing? I'm going to put it over here. Hopefully I don't forget about it. You guys need to remind me that this sticky note even exists. You guys want to take a look at what my desk looks like right now? Because if I put it here, I'm going to lose it. Okay, let me see if I can. It's pretty bad right now. My desk is worse than it's been in a while. Oh man, what the heck? Oh, it's because my Wi-Fi. Okay, see, so we need to find a place for this sticky note. But if you look at like my table right now, it is a huge, like, I just have stuff everywhere. And you can already see I have sticky notes back here too. Like this one, I don't even know what this one's for. Ida, oh, this was some other build that I did. So we need to put this, I was gonna put it here, but I think I'm gonna knock it down. Like if I put it back here, I'm gonna put it on, so my hub usually stays pretty clear. This is my USB hub thing. Why is it so laggy right now? But I'll put it here. I often plug and unplug things from that. We'll let that be the spot. So just remind me, and then we will take a look at that prediction in like months times when the graphics card comes out. Put it in my wallet. I have a clip wallet. I do not have space for extra stuff. That's almost like my desk. You guys have heard me say it time and time before. You know when you go to like clean desk setup on those subreddits and stuff, where like people post these pictures where they have like this, my ultra clean desk setup. People who have desk setups like this, I am convinced they don't do a lot of work on it. Or the work they do only consists of stuff on the computer and nothing else. Because there's no way. I couldn't even imagine having a desk setup staying this constantly clean. You make a good point. Start a spreadsheet now, then you'll have it done. But I think with the spreadsheet, the difficult thing is there might be people who doubt that I actually, because you could change it, right? Oh, I gotta date this. You guys seen it written in this handwriting, and I'm gonna date it. Today's 9/10 at 7:10 p.m. This is kind of like those timestamps that they make you post on Hardware Swap to prove something because it's written down. So I can't rewrite a version of this. I probably can. You guys probably couldn't even tell, but I think it makes it more fun to have a written note that I cannot change, and people can't accuse me of changing to change my predictions. I am ashamed of my desk always. Get a tattoo of the prediction. Craig Lilly, you always got the best quirky jokes. Lol, it's all aesthetics. Yeah, they just watch YouTube and Minecraft all day. Well, this person had an Apple, their laptop, their Mac, on a vertical stand. Which I'm like, bro, don't you want multiple monitors? Why don't you open that thing up and make use of multiple monitors? Even, like, I don't remember when the last time I ran a single monitor setup is. How many of you out there? Anyone out there run a single monitor? We gotta poll this. Startable. How many monitors are you running? So there's 1, 2. Let me know in chat as well though, specifically, but 4 or more. I am team usually 3, but I haven't gotten a replacement for my dead monitor up top yet. So I'm right now I'm running a 2 monitor setup. I'm kind of looking at that Corsair mini monitor thing, that Edge that a lot of people have been reviewing lately. That would fit way better underneath my current monitor than this 16:9 aspect ratio one. But it's kind of pricey, so I don't know. B770 will not beat the 9060 XT, not even close. I wouldn't be it. The thing is, I think Intel is gonna price it accordingly, right? Like I think they're gonna the A770 and the B580 and even the B570, sorry. That was priced accordingly to what was expected and what exists at the time. I don't think Intel is gonna release a card if it has 16 gigs of RAM and if it has the appropriate gap in pricing. I don't think it's worth the trouble to make a graphics card that is like $300, only $50 more than their previous one, and barely an incremental like increase. I think it's gonna be like 9060 territory easily. I'm curious to think why you don't think the B770 will even come close to it, because the 9060 XT at $350, it's a great card, but I don't think it's like it punches like a lot above its weight class for its price, right? It did make a lot of the previous gen cards obsolete, but if you compared used, which I hate doing normally, it loses to a 10 gigabyte 3080, and those can be found easily for $350 ish, right around now. I know it's not the same comparison, new versus used, this gen versus 2 gens ago, but there are alternatives to the if you're willing to go used for the 9060 XT. I'm a bit OCD about that. I have my desk all clean and all things in determined places. I'm the exact opposite. I have ADHD and I cannot like get organized. You guys want to? Okay, no. You guys, if you guys have seen the studio before and how messy it is, it's even messier now because I just can never find time to organize and clean. Because any free time I have, most of it goes to the girls, and then any other free time I have beyond that, I gotta like be doing stuff for YouTube to stay afloat. But it is a mess down here in the studio right now. Things change quickly. I organized for the LAN in April, and then now it's such a chaotic mess. You're right. I can date to predictions. We can make a predictions. Oh, we can do that right now. Okay, let's do that. I want to keep the sticky note, but that's a good idea. Tech predictions. And I'm going to delete messages from this that, okay, so I'm gonna make, how do I make a new channel? I'm so bad at using Discord. Oh, plus, okay. Tech predictions. Okay. Only selected members and roles, okay. Sure, I think this is what I want. Okay. Does everyone see this channel? We'll put this above stream submissions. My prediction is that the B770. Alright, guys. Okay, sweet. You guys can see it. Thank you for posting here. So let's try to not make this tech predictions room a chat room. We're just dropping predictions in here so that it can be timestamped. And anyone who has an edit next to it, it means your prediction is null or void. So make sure you get your edits in and your spell checks and typos fixed before submitting it. Because as soon as... Because I don't think Discord shows you the previous edits, right? Like once you edit something, it doesn't show the history of edits. So the only predictions that we take seriously is the ones that don't have the edits next to them. Will cost around $375 and perform roughly 5 to 10% better than the 9060 XT. Okay. Feel free to drop your predictions in here. If I see things that aren't related to predictions, then I might delete it because, again, I don't want this channel to be filled as a chat. I should probably... How do I edit the... Edit channel. The description. Channel is for predictions only. Please keep chatting to a minimum. Okay, so we will keep it there. I'm making this channel mostly so that I can, you know, check myself on things. But if you guys want to give predictions too, feel free. 400. Okay, Indie Hooligan thinks it's gonna cost 400 and match. If it's 400 and matches 9060 XT, I think it's dead in the water. There would be no reason to buy it. Intel already has the smallest market share, and their software that's, you know, rivals AMD Adrenalin and GeForce or NVIDIA. What is the NVIDIA app called now? It's not the GeForce. What is that? The NVIDIA app, whatever that's called. Intel is just worse by far. Like I use all three of them. And I hate Intel's software. It's the NVIDIA app. Okay, yeah. I always forget the name. I just only recently got back to daily driving an NVIDIA card. So, and I don't even know if I installed it. NVIDIA. Oh, okay. I do have the NVIDIA app. I think it by default installed the driver package. Yeah. Yeah, what's that NVIDIA app called? It's called the NVIDIA app. Yeah. My predictions go. Wait, toxic. Which person are you? Are you Indie Hooligan or which person are you in the? Or are you not in the Discord? Did I miss your prediction? You said your prediction's gonna be on point. Peckish says, I think if the 9060 non-XT releases, they won't give it 8 gigs of VRAM. I estimate 10 gigabytes, and it will barely perform faster than 5060. I haven't given much thought to the 9060 non-XT. But 9060 non-XT version, I would expect to perform like 15 to 20% worse than the XT one. I think it would... I would imagine it having 12 gigs of VRAM, though. The Nvidia app, well... Oh, you're gonna post it? Okay, yeah. Feel free to post the predictions. Yeah, the B770 would be considered a battle mage. Not newer. Maybe battle mage refresh? I don't know. But it would still fall under the umbrella of battle mage. I'm gonna be optimistic and say it costs $450 and match the 4070, says Pedro. Okay. Okay. Somehow, dude, we talked about so much tonight. All off of motherboards and B770s, and then whatever the heck you guys wanted me to talk about at the beginning of the stream. But I do have to get going within the next 10 minutes or so. So I'm just going to hang out and focus on chat and not the browser, because we've done plenty of that tonight. So yeah, we can talk about whatever for the rest of the stream. I need to drink water though, because I have not drank anything, and I've been talking for 2.5 hours straight. But Arc Druid Briss, thank you for the join to the Nerd on a Big Budget. I appreciate it. Is 900 USD a good price for a Ryzen 5500 32 gigs of 3200 CL16 1 terabyte hard drive? Not even an SSD? No, okay, no, there's 1 terabyte hard drive, 1 terabyte SSD, A tier, 1000 watt PSU, RX 6800 XT, and a 34-inch ultra-wide monitor? Yeah? The worst thing about this build is the CPU, and that could easily be replaced, and you could sell that thing for like, how much do these things go for? Ryzen 5500, they're like $70 or something, right? You could probably get like 50 for it to offset the price, and get yourself like a 5600X or something, or 5600. Getting a 5800X 3D and 5700X 3D is gonna be kind of tough because they're stupid expensive right now, but you can work with it, and for the price. And you're getting an ultra-wide monitor that's probably valued at anywhere from used, like $200 to $300. I don't know that specific MSI monitor, but it's a 1440p ultra-wide, high refresh rate, 180 hertz. Oh, you said all new. All new except GPUs used. I think $900 is worth it. You're getting a 6800 XT in there, and those go for like $350 to $400 by themselves. You're getting like a 200 to 300 monitor, not to mention a good power supply, 1 terabyte SSD, a functioning build. Yes, I would get that. He should keep the 5500. Jumping to the 5600 wouldn't make a difference. Yeah, now that I think of it, and yeah, he's on a, it's gonna be, or they, I don't know if it's a he or she, but yeah, on a 6800 XT, you should be fine, and I would just use it until, at the ultra-wide 1440p, you're gonna be, for the most part, stressing out the graphics card. The 6800 XT is a good card, but it'll be put through its paces playing, like, AAA titles at 1440p ultra-wide, so, yeah, you could keep it. Have they updated my order yet? Give me a shipping estimation for this motherboard. I'm excited. It's still processing. No, I bought it after hours. It might not process and ship until tomorrow. B770 will be GTA 6 ready for sure in my predictions. Oh, let me see what your prediction was. I think, bro, GTA 5 was very playable on even like kind of more, not entry level, but like more affordable hardware. When GTA 5 came out, cards like the 750 Ti and GTX 760, those ran it like really well, at least at 60 FPS, which is what, for a game like GTA, that's all I would expect. You know, it's not like a super fast-paced esports shooter. So GTA 6, unless they go crazy with it, it's Rockstar. I have faith that they're gonna optimize it where, sure, it's gonna look crazy amazing at the high end, but I think they're gonna make it so that the mid-range cards can still be accessible and play it with, you know, tuning the settings, the graphic settings down. So I don't think GTA 6 is gonna be this game that drops and like no, you know, what's a more recent title that dropped that like pretty much nobody could play it except for like 5090 and 4090 owners. I wouldn't say Monster Hunter Wild because that runs crap even on those high-end graphics cards. But I think GTA 6 is going to have amazing technology, but I think they're going to develop it in a way that it can be played on a wide range of hardware. Indiana Jones, I guess. Monster Hunter Wildlands, or Hunter's Wildlands, which one is that? Not, you mean Monster Hunter Wilds, or... GTA 6 is so far on, yeah. So GTA 6 isn't even going to be releasing until, what was the date? Middle next year? I forget what the release date already. So the release date supposed to be, yeah, May 2026. It didn't come out, GTA 5 did not come out for like a year and a half, or I think it was a year and a half until a year and a half later on PC compared to console. So yeah, you've got at least, what just happened? My chat died. Weird. But I think you have at least until like the end of 2027, if not early 2028 for GTA 6. I would love to be wrong. I'm gonna drop this prediction too in the Discord server. GTA 6 on PC, not until late 2027. Okay. When GTA 6 is on PC, there'll be cards like the 9090 or something. No, I mean, it's only potentially like 3-ish years, 3.5 years away. That's only like 1.5. Oh, yeah, I guess on, well, we're already on 90 series for AMD, but for NVIDIA, unless they skip, you think NVIDIA is gonna skip numbering? You know how NVIDIA skipped 80 series cards, like the GTX 800 series? At least on consumer desktop. They had 800 series mobile, right? But I'm curious if they're going to skip RTX 8000 similarly. Is it something to do with like the Chinese and like superstition or something with the number 8? Or is that totally random? It's kind of like how AMD skipped. Which one did they skip? They skipped 40 or 4000 series AM4 chips, except for OEMs and mobile, kind of. But on like the consumer desktop side of things, I guess they eventually became available. But it's similar to that. They might skip 6000 because they're scared of the 6090 meme. We got maybe one more gen before GTA 6. There's like 2 years between gens now. Yeah, it's about 2 years between generation releases. So that's why I don't think we'll be at the 90 series for NVIDIA at that point. PS5 standard will need to run GTA 6, so it'll be fine for any medium cards for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, GTA 6 is going to work with existing consoles. And don't get me wrong, for a console, they do optimize the game in a specific way, and they perform black magic to make it work on, you know, more limiting hardware. But still, I think by this point, to make the most money, you need to make your game the most accessible too. Like, and we know Rockstar loves money, so. What's for dinner? I made Indian curry at the beginning of the week, so probably that. Also, low-key, Trader Joe's naan. I just discovered this thing within like the last month. The garlic naan at Trader Joe's is, to me, and I love Indian food, I think this is as good as the garlic naan that I've got in restaurants. And a pack of 4 of these, and they're really decently sized, is only $3. And it saves you the trouble of having to make naan. I've never made naan, but I don't care to make it now that they have this. But yeah, I'm obsessed with the Trader Joe's garlic naan. My goodness. This tastes so legit and good. And it's so reasonably priced. I bought 4 of these packs just the other day. And I'm going through my Indian kick right now. So I think that's what I'm going to have for dinner. But, sorry, off topic. Yes, if you guys need a recommendation for food, go get a jar of Indian curry from wherever you shop at. Fred Meyer's, Albertsons, wherever. Throw in some chicken sauteed with it and get some of this garlic Joe naans. And it's pretty close to the restaurant experience for like a fraction of the price. I've never had naan. Yeah, it's good. I think I can make some good curry too. Indian or Suriname tastes very well. I used to make from scratch Indian curry, mostly butter chicken tikka masala, because I'm a basic bee like that. But I used to have all the individual spices, like the curry powder, cumin, coriander, paprika, cayenne pepper, all that. And I invested in buying the individual spices in college, actually, because I was a broke college student. And by now, they would have been expired, I guess. We're talking like over 15 years ago. But ever since I found jar curry, I'm just like, this is close enough to the real thing. Like, it's not as good as restaurant, and it's not as good as making it from scratch. But for the time saved and for the price, if I can get a 8 out of 10 curry tasting experience for like a fraction of the work, I'm gonna do it. So I love buying the different jar curry simmer sauces. I live in a town with 30,000 people. We don't have good restaurants, basically Chinese and Mexican. Oh no. I feel like that's such a good business opportunity for restaurants of unique cuisines to open up, because you will be the spot for that cuisine. And if you are good, then like, I guess it depends on the people, how open they are to trying different foods. Peckish says, thanks to you, I now have decided I'm going with 9060 XT 16 gig Steel Legend instead of a 7800 XT. I'm also getting 6 more fan. Oh, okay. Peckish, I like your decision on the 9060 XT. Regarding 6 more fans, I don't think fans make that big of a difference like people think they do. Now, I'm going to have to preface this by saying it depends on if you live in like a really extreme environment, like in the desert, like let's say you live in Arizona, in like an extremely hot environment, I could see it making more of a difference. But I challenge anyone out there with like 9 fans in their system, try taking away half of them, leave only 4 or 5, and see what your temperature differences are. Because yes, it's gonna make a difference in your GPU and CPU temperatures, but oftentimes it's in the single digit differences. Like it's not going to be more than 10-degree difference because your cooler on your CPU is going to be the majority of the cooling performance on that, and the gigantic heatsink on your GPU fan is going to be the driver of that. Case fans facilitate airflow and get fresh airflow in, yes, but past like the basic intake and exhaust that you have, I feel like spending extra on fans is kind of like a waste of money. Like, I built lots of computers. I built computers where I don't throw any fans in. I built ones where I use the default 3 in the front, 1 in the back. And I've built a number of computers where I've loaded them up with fans for the aesthetics. And I've never felt the need, like, those extra fans, aside from aesthetics, was ever super worth the money. I have 9 fans and just keep them at a low RPM. But what I'm saying is, I think if you took out, so you keep the configuration so that you have, like, let's say, of those 9, keep 3 exhausts, or 2 intake, 3 intake, 2 exhausts, remove the other 4, keep them at the same low RPMs, and let me know what the temperature difference in your CPU and GPU is under, load or gaming or whatever you do on a daily basis. It's not as large as I think a lot of people who do go in spending a lot on fans believe it to be. You live in Australia, 45C. What is that? 45C to F. Oh, 113? Okay, yeah, so you live in an extreme environment. Though, the way... If your ambient is already 113 Fahrenheit, having more fans pushing it, it just depends on what the delta is. It'll be more effective at cooling, but you're still brushing technically warm air over your radiators or heatsink fins, so the heat transfer is less effective than in cooler environments. It's mainly for looks because my case looks empty. That's my issue with case these days. There's so many cases that are huge and they look weirdly empty. Like that NZXT case we talked about the other week. What was it? The H9 or whatever? A lot of cases now have room, like, it makes it so that if you don't fully fill it up, they look weird. They have a lot of empty space, which I don't like because I gravitate towards smaller cases. I don't like wasted space. So many builds nowadays just have like this weird empty gap in front if you top mount your radiator, because they accommodate front mounted radiators, or like they accommodate reservoirs for custom loops and stuff. But for people who are just using standard air tower coolers and just like, whatever GPU, you get this weird awkward space in the front that's like empty. $120 in the summer, bro. I imagine you have AC. You have to have AC. I can't imagine it being bearable without it. Yeah. Wait, Peckish, can you wait till next week's stream? I gotta go in like the next few minutes. I don't want you to post it now because I can't look at it now and we might forget about it for next stream. So if you can post it next week or just any of the following weeks in the future, then we can take a look at it. But I gotta wrap up in like the next minute or two. So... Think about the Fantex NB7 or 9? Yeah, and that's my issue. I wish there weren't... I guess there's plenty of cases that you don't need to fill them up, but I typically don't like these gigantic cases that force you to use fans, otherwise it looks empty and weird. Fizz says, I just had to come here and say that I love the LAN party videos. It takes me back to time with less stress. We do LAN parties, but we only do 3 to 4 people. Keep posting those, man. Thanks for the kind words. And 3 to 4 is such a good number to LAN with, too. It can be more like focused. If I had free time, I would love to put together more mini LANs too on top of the LAN parties that we do. It's just I can't, like, once you have a significant other, you get married, you have kids and stuff. It's too hard to do too many, and the LAN setup we have now is good. But if I was a millionaire and didn't have to work, and my friends didn't either, I would throw more mini LAN parties with around like 3 to 6 people, smaller. You don't have access to the PC showcase setup. That's weird. No one should be barred from that. It's build and setup showcase. Are you looking at the right thing? So it's up here under like 3 under general. So the PC setup showcase doesn't exist anymore because I made the channel wrong. I changed it to a gallery view channel. So this is the one you want to go to. Build and setup showcase. Yeah, this one I locked a long time ago. You want to post into to this one. I wish you would go back to that computer thrift store and do a walkthrough. It wasn't a computer thrift store. It was just a thrift store. Not even a thrift store. It's an Amazon pallet store. I felt like I did a decent walkthrough. I showed most of the store. People were complaining that I was showing too much of it. Like some guy complained every time I pointed out the printers. But my God, that store had so many printers for so cheap. That's why I pointed them out, because it blew my mind. Like, why are people spending full price on printers when you can buy them here for like 25 to 30, 40 bucks? And they're like, you know, HP, Canon, like known, well-known brands. I come to prefer 2 140s for intake and 1 120 for exhaust. I like the 140s. They're kind of less common. I don't know why. Like, I guess it requires your case to be that much wider. No, most cases have bracketing to fit both 120s and 140 without changing the form factor too much. But I don't know what the reason is. I personally don't use 140s too often. I like them. I wish I would use them more. It's just they're not as common. You kind of have to go out of your way to use them. And because they're like not as common, I think price to the number of fans you're getting or performance wise, it might be just a little pricier. And you know me, I'm cheap. Any non-weirdos in chat in and around Missouri want to put together a LAN group, hit up Daniel Huline on the Discord to have their own LAN parties. Yeah, I feel like a good way would be to, if you have like a local computer or just any local nerd meetup spot. So like nowadays, tabletop gaming and tabletop cafes and bars and stuff, game shops, those are like the only guaranteed place you could go to meet up with fellow nerds on a regular basis. So going to those, hanging out around those more and meeting people through that, even though it's a tabletop gaming place, it's very likely those people are into gaming and then adjacently PC gaming. So I would think that would be the only spot, like even in my local town, right? The local, either the retro game stores or the tabletop cafes would be the best spots to like find nerds who are like willing to be more sociable and like, you know, not completely introverted, and be willing to like make friends. Oh yeah, no, I understand, Peckish. I like it when a PC looks full and like flushed out and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm a cheap ass, so I'm always going to like, you know, point things like that out or complain about having to buy too many fans to just make it look right. But no, I totally get it. I've done plenty of builds where I put like, you know, way more fans than I think should have gone in there just to make it not look weird. I just print from the library. The ink cartridges are more expensive. That's why you gotta get a laser printer. Once you get a laser printer, you don't have to buy toner for it for like years. And they don't, I've never, for my laser printers, they've never had like leaking or weird like misprints and stuff like that. And laser printers, as soon as you print it, you can run water under it and it won't smudge and, you know, do that thing, diffuse. We need a big D LAN party where everyone here shows up in a public community hall. Dude, people have asked for me to throw a public LAN party before. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. If only I was a big enough YouTube channel to be able to make that happen. But logistically, planning-wise, cost-wise, I don't see that being in the cards. You got to think of all the tech content creators who are way bigger than me, who make way more money than me, has more reach. Who are the only ones doing things like that? Linus had his LTX, which the community completely ruined. So that's not happening anymore. Though he's still having Whale Land. And then you have Jay's 2 Cents, who's trying to start something up with the SoCal Tech Fair. But that's it. You tell me all these tech content creators with millions of subs raking in way more money than me, and no one else is throwing community-led events like this except for 2 channels. And more recently, it's only been... it was Linus only for the longest time. And then now Jay's just joined in this year. So, as much as I would love to be able to do something like that, that'd be way too difficult, unfortunately. I have a brewery that encourages gaming get-together. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a popular thing these days. Gaming and brews as well. Hello, Danny. Newest video asking about GPU's absolute banger. Really good and open up my eyes about the real market. That the comments is almost like so toxic in that video, unfortunately. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go watch the newest video. It's actually kind of blowing up, surprisingly. I didn't think it would do as well as it did. But, like, I have no judgment for people and what graphics card they have. I'm simply curious what people have. And I want to use that as a conversation starter and to talk to random people in our PC building community. But you read the comments of the latest video, and so many people are judgmental as to people who don't know their own hardware in the system and looking down on them and basically, like, talking crap about them. Like, I have my good friends from the LAN crew. They have no idea what is in the computers because I build it for them and they use it as a tool for gaming. I will never look down on people for stupid things like that. Like, I don't have this weird superiority complex where I think, like, I'm this all-knowing person who's, like, smart enough to be able to build my own PC, so anyone who can't or who don't remember the graphics card are, like, lesser. But just reading through the comments of the latest video, my God. Like, some people, I feel like they're just self-projecting their own insecurities or something. Like, they need something to be superior over other people about. So they're latching onto this, like, oh my God, how can you not know what is in your PC? It's strange behavior. So watch the video. It's a fun video. But then read the comments and you're like, what the hell? Like, how did a video that was this fun result in this comment section? Too many people expect everyone to meet a standard. Exactly. Like, it's weird to me, that behavior. I've got another one coming up. Like I said, it's still from PAX. It's going to be a similar style video. Hopefully that one does well too. But asking console gamers why they don't game on PC. My intention is not to flame console gamers. My intention is not to stroke like a flame war, consoles versus PCs. I'm just curious. As a PC gamer who used to be a console gamer, I'm curious, like, what are the reasons people don't care to game on PC for whatever reason, and I'm just talking to complete random strangers about it. But I guarantee it's gonna turn in the comments into a haha console sucks type of thing. Like, I don't know. Out of touch people, you really just need integrated graphics. Then you can play Terraria. Yeah, people have sunk thousands of hours into Terraria. Yeah. Can you put together a graph? Someone actually did in the comments. It's not a graph. They listed out. Let me see if I can find it. They listed it all out. This is the last browser thing I'm going to pull up before I end the stream.
I have an RTX 3090. Bought it off of a...
Stop. Okay. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So someone actually watched it, took note, and listed out every graphics card. So I guess it wouldn't take too long to punch this into a Excel spreadsheet. Well, there's a lot of variety of cards, but you can just see, and they even listed it almost in order. It was by far dominant by Nvidia. Like, you could see from the list, AMD card unspecified 2, Radeon software is 1, so that's AMD card 7800 XT. So this tiny part of the list down here is AMD, and everything up here were Nvidia users, which is pretty reflective of what we see in the Steam hardware survey and things like that, right? Like, none of this is surprising. It's just way more interesting than getting just a stat to, like, talk personally to the gamer behind the PC and the card. So, yeah. That is a committed viewer. Kind of like the guy on Linus Tech Tips who used to do the timestamps of every live stream. That was crazy. They did such detailed timestamps. That looks pretty crazy close to market share, exactly. And not a single person had an Intel Arc card. I was the person who had the Intel Arc card, the interviewer. I feel like, okay, so this is the thing. You feel like more people are moving to AMD right now, and that's because the YouTube comments, Reddit, and Twitter are echo chambers. It's a bunch of circle jerking of people saying like, oh, AMD is the best, I'm getting AMD. But if you think about it, the people who are on these, and I'm not talking down to anybody, unless you're one of those people who are like a weird fanboy. I'm not really even talking down to you, but I'm just saying the mentality of like the people who are in these circles, in these online communities that take the time to participate, they are the enthusiasts. They are not the majority. Think of how many people own computers and play computer games that don't even go online to participate on online discussions regarding that stuff. The average person from that group is going to be an NVIDIA user, which isn't a good or a bad thing. It's just what it is. So anything you see online, you have to take a look at it with like, you know, with a grain of salt, because the people, it's like the vocal minority are the ones who are talking, I guess. If AMD could get their price down, they could really get market share, but I was choosing between the 5070. Oh yeah, 5070 Ti right now makes more sense than the 9070 XT. I'm going to say that. Given everything you get with NVIDIA and the performance of it, depending on the benchmarks you look at, 5070 Ti does edge out the 9070 XT, and it only costs $30 more. You can find them at $750 MSRP. I'm still looking at 9070 XTs going for, on average, $720, which is 20% higher than the $600 supposed MSRP. If it was $600, it would be better, but given that NVIDIA still has the better suite of software, and depending on the industry applications you might be doing, like Blender or something CUDA-driven, NVIDIA still may be worth it for people. For streamers, I think NVIDIA is more worth it. So... yeah, I would agree with you there. Yes, you're right. They do hold their value better, and when you resell them, you can get more of your money back. Someone's selling a 9070 XT for $630 to $650. Should I cop? Make sure to test that. That's a lot to be spending on a graphics card. But yeah, if it works fine, then you're still paying. Isn't that weird? Someone is selling it used, I'm assuming used, for more than MSRP still. Like, it sucks the way AMD card prices are right now. AMD needs to eradicate the well-documented meme of NVIDIA minus 50. Yeah. $9070 XT is especially expensive in my country. I don't know why. Could this be due to people hyping it up and jacked up the prices? I have noticed that in, like, I think European countries specifically, people have said NVIDIA cards have been MSRP since almost the beginning, and AMD has stupid markups. I don't know personally why, but I've seen that. Yeah, 4070 Ti's going for as much as 5070 Ti's is stupid. The whole last gen got so screwed over because of the short production run. that yeah. Hopefully we don't see weirdness with the super refresh. Hopefully they see if they stop making the non-super cards, and then there's kind of a shortage, and then that causes the super cards to go up in price, but then the non-super used market to go up. That's gonna be frustrating. But all right, somehow you guys distracted me enough to talk for the whole 3 hours. This was not supposed to be a 3-hour stream, but I want to thank you all for the donations. The motherboard is incoming. I will unbox it as soon as it's here on stream. And yeah, I think it'll be fun to take a look at the BIOS, because I think most people have probably experienced, the BIOS from Gigabyte, MSI, Asus, ASRock, and stuff like that. I've personally never played or even seen what a Sapphire BIOS looks like. So if we could unbox it, pop it open, and just go and dick around and see what just the BIOS looks like, that would be fun for a future stream. I don't think it'll be next week though. It looks like the shipping, because it was coming from, was it China? It might take a little bit. Where is it shipping from? It didn't say. But I think it's coming from China. That's why it's taking 2 weeks. So, yeah, I'll let you guys know if I have to pay any, import fees or anything like that on it. Hey, what up, Brian Switzer? Welcome back. We're actually just leaving. And then, yeah, and then doing the BIOS update. Maybe we'll see if they release an English version. I don't think it should matter. But I wonder if it's going to be, in Chinese. Hopefully not. But, yeah, well, that should be a fun stream. But everyone, have a good night. Have a great rest of the week. Should be a video this weekend. And then I'm trying to release some shorts content as well. Get back in on those. But you can catch me in the Discord server. Typically, I pop in usually at least once a day. But if there's interesting conversation being had, I usually pop in more frequently. So you can catch me there in the meantime. But you guys have a great one. And I will see you hopefully in next week's stream as well. Same time, same day as always. Bye-bye.